Hey guys, it's me, Amaterasu, back with another part to the hope of the Senju clan, aka what if Naruto was a Senju. I'm sorry I missed to upload yesterday, it's just that the views kinda demotivated me, but anyways without further ado, roll the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
My wheels got in my bag and I got all my feels. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real, had to sacrifice to try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground.
Chapter 9. Return. About 2 years after meeting Killer Bee and his team as well as meeting the Fire Daimyo, Naruto was on his way to Konoha to become an official ninja there. At first his mother was against the idea, but after Jiraiya reminded her that Naruto needed to go there to master his Makuten bloodline, along with the fact that with the Akatsuki now starting to move around, it would be in Naruto's best interest to join Konoha, where Konoha could help support him and even help protect him when they eventually come after him, whether it was for his Makuten bloodline or the Kyuubi. Eventually, after much arguing, Tsunade finally agreed that Naruto would go to Konoha, which made Naruto happy as he had wanted to go to the place he was born and that was founded by his ancestors. Currently accompanying Naruto on his journey to Konoha was Jiraiya, as his mother and Shizune along with Tonton were in Kiba no Kuni, Fang country, currently dealing with a disease that had spread in a large town in the country, where many people in the town had been affected by it. Once the disease had been dealt with, Tsunade said that she would meet Naruto in Konoha. Naruto was fairly tall for his age as he was about 5'2". He wore a black sleeveless vest with a green sleeveless zip-up top over it. He also wore green pants and black boots with green elbow pads and green fingerless gloves. Also on his back he carried the katana that Killer Bee gave him in its sheath on his back with the sling to keep it there around his chest. Soon enough Jiraiya and Naruto could see the large gateway for Konoha in the distance. Once Jiraiya saw the gateway he stopped and turned to Naruto. "Okay brat, this is where we part ways for now," said Jiraiya. "What do you mean Uro-senin? Aren't you coming with me into Konoha and explain everything to Gigi?" asked Naruto. A tick mark appeared on Jiraiya's head at being called the nickname, as he hated being called that and he couldn't get Naruto to call him something else. Plus it didn't help with the fact that Tsunade encouraged and praised him every time he called Jiraiya that. Quickly deciding to ignore Naruto's nickname of him, Jiraiya decided to explain why he wasn't going to Konoha with him. "Sorry brat, but I have somewhere I need to go first, but once I have that done I will come back here," answered Jiraiya. At this Naruto raised his left eyebrow as he didn't believe Jiraiya. "Does this little side trip involve you going to some hot spring to look at naked girls? Because if it is Uro-senin, not only will I tell Ka-chan about you leaving me to go off peeping, but I will also administer my own form or payback on you," said Naruto with the evil look and smirk on his face that he had inherited from his mother, which never ceased to freak Jiraiya out at how much Naruto was like his mother. But what got Jiraiya really worried was Naruto mentioning that he would administer his own punishment, as Naruto was vicious when he was punishing someone. Hey now Naruto, there no need to for that, as I'm on the up and up on this, don't you believe me? Nope, deadpan Naruto, which caused Jiraiya to fall on the ground after hearing Naruto's reply and muttered about disrespectful brats these days. "Well, I'm serious this time. I'm meeting a contact of mine who sent word to me yesterday that he had information for me and I have to meet somewhere. But once I have that done I will come back here." "Okay," said Jiraiya. For a moment Naruto said nothing, but then sighed and then spoke. "Fine then. But I promise you Uro-senin, if this is one of your research missions for one of your books, I will make sure that you pay for skipping out on me again, and it will be worse off than that time at Crater City, and I will reveal you little secret to everyone in the village in Quat." At this Jiraiya audibly gulped at the threat, as what happened there was second time he came close to being killed. The first being when he peeked in on Tsunade when they were younger, and Naruto also had something over Jiraiya that he didn't want anyone in the world to know. Flashback 1 year ago, Jiraiya was currently hiding in the leaves of a tree nearby the local hot spring and looking through his telescope at the different young girls who were relaxing in the hot spring. As he was looking through the telescope, a new young girl with raven-like hair and bright green eyes who looked to be about in her mid-20s had just entered the hot spring area, and was about to take off her towel and enter the hot water with the other young girls. "Ooh yeah, that's it baby, take it off, this is gold, you are so to be in my next book," said Jiraiya out loud as he leaned forward to get a better look at her. But just as the girl was about to take off her towel, a voice suddenly cried out. Hey Uro-senin, get down here and stop peeking on those girls. I need your help with this jutsu you showed me. Naruto's sudden shout had caught Jiraiya by surprise, where he lost his balance and fell forward and landed flat on his face on the ground. Ow, damn you brat, what is it, can't you see I'm busy, said Jiraiya as he picked himself up. I told you I need your help with this jutsu as I still can't get it, said the 11-year-old Naruto as he crossed his arms and looked down at the toad sage who was still on the ground. I already told it to you how to do it, said Jiraiya as he lifted himself up. No you didn't, all you did was show me the jutsu once and just told me the bare basics of it and left to go peeking on those girls in the hot spring. I need to know more and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, said Naruto with a frown. Listen brat, I can't be holding your hand all the time, you eventually have to learn to do things by yourself without someone always watching over you. Besides, I not peeking, I doing research for my next book, replied Jiraiya. It the same thing no matter how you say it, and to be honest I don't know why you even write those trashy books, replied Naruto. They're not trashy, they are a work of art, cried Jiraiya with annoyance, where he then took out one of Haya's books from his pouch and held it up like some kind of holy book. They're trash, repeated Naruto. Even Ka-chan and Shizune One-chan say so, and they even said that no one really reads them. Hey, that not true. I have hundreds of loyal fans who eagerly look forward to each of my books, spoke Jiraiya with pride. Ha, more like hundreds of pathetic men that can't find themselves girlfriends and need to read your trashy books to escape reality, scoffed Naruto. Ha, like a brat like you would know anything about finding himself a girlfriend, scoffed Jiraiya back. I know a lot more than you, as at least I don't end up being attacked and beating up by a mob of angry women every mouth for peeking on them like you. Besides, I can sure as hell say that I won't stay a virgin until I'm 40 unlike some people I know, replied Naruto with a smirk, which got bigger when he saw the shock look on Jiraiya's face, which turned to horror. Who told you that? Cried the panicked Jiraiya, as Naruto had just uttered Jiraiya's deepest darkest secret that no one should know. You did when you got drunk after drinking too much sake at my 10th birthday. Luckily for you, Shizune One-chan wasn't in the room at the time and Ka-chan was asleep, answered a smirking Naruto. Although I'm sure Ka-chan will love to know that little bit of information, I think I go find her now and tell her as punishment for not helping me train and going off peeking. No you will not, cried the panicked Jiraiya, as he chased after Naruto, as he couldn't let Naruto tell his mother, since if Tsunade found out, she would never let him hear the end of it and would tease, torture and hold it over him for the rest of his life and probably the afterlife as well. For the next 10 minutes Jiraiya chased after Naruto through the forestry behind the hot spring, after which Naruto came to the edge of the forestry with Jiraiya hot on his tail. When he reached the forestry edge he saw the large group of girls that Jiraiya had been spying on a few minutes ago coming out of the entrance of the hot spring fully clothed. Upon seeing them Naruto quickly came up with a cunning and evil plan that would have made a certain snake Sennin proud. Quickly Naruto got some water from his water bottle and spread some on his eyes to make it look as if he was crying. After which, upon hearing Jiraiya nearing where he was, Naruto quickly ran out to the girls coming out of the hot spring, started to put out the waterworks with fake tears and cries. Wah! WHA! 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 cried Naruto as he ran up to a young blonde-haired girl who quickly bended down to Naruto to comfort him, while the other girls surrounded him to see why he was so upset. There, are you okay sweetie, what wrong? Asked the blonde girl. Hip, sputtered Naruto as if he really was crying. They're a big tall old white hair man chancing after me, hip, he offered me sweeties to eat and brought me into the forest and made me read some weird book with him that had pictures of naked men and ladies doing funny things with each other, hip, he also started to touch me in places I didn't like, which was why I ran away and he's still after me, said Naruto in a scared innocent voice to make him sound all the more convincing. Upon hearing this, the women became filled with feminine rage and angry, where they were about ready to go and hunt down this man and make him suffer for trying to corrupt the innocent boy. And as if answering their praise, Jiraiya appeared from out of the bushes looking for Naruto. There you are, he said, and was about to go over to him, but the group of women quickly put themselves in front of Naruto. We won't let yet touch a hair on this little boy and try and corrupt him, you fitly pervert, said the young raven-haired girl that Jiraiya had been spying on earlier. Hey, now girls, I don't know what the kid there has told you there, but don't believe whatever he told you as it isn't true, I can assure you, said Jiraiya. The girls might have been willing to hear Jiraiya out had he not been still holding the Icha book in his hand, which furthered to infuriate the girls and solidify Naruto's story. It also helped that Naruto kept his innocent look on so that the girls would side with him. And if Jiraiya wasn't in enough trouble, then Naruto put the final nail in his coffin for him. That him. He pointed at Jiraiya accusingly. He's the one who tried to make me read those books that he said he wrote, and I also saw him peeping on you in the hot spring when you were bathing in quad. Upon hearing all this, flames or righteous female rage and anger filled the women's eyes, and Jiraiya then knew he was a dead man, as there was no way he could talk himself out of this situation. When he realized this, he could also see from behind the group of girls, Naruto was smiling evilly at what he had just done, and waved goodbye to Jiraiya, knowing what would happen next. "Damn you, Naruto!" cursed Jiraiya inside his mind, although a small part of himself could not help but admire Naruto for being able to manipulate the girl so well into doing his bidding. Quickly pushing the thought aside, Jiraiya then did the only thing he could do and what any man in his situation would do. He ran, where he was quickly followed by the large group of girls ready to lay a beat down on the super pervert. After a while, many people around the city could hear the girly screams of pain and cries agony coming for Jiraiya. Flashback ends. Jiraiya could not help but wince at the memory of the pain that he felt after the beating that he went through from the girls, as there wasn't a part of his body that wasn't in pain after it. After a few hours, he had somehow managed to get back to where Tsunade, Naruto and Shizune were staying so that he could be treated for his injuries. Unfortunately, instead of receiving care from Tsunade, he received another beating at the hands of and wrathful Tsunade and Shizune, as they had heard from some of girls who had been among the group that had beat Jiraiya, who had come to them to heal some bruised fists, that a tall white-haired man who was the author of the Icha Icha books was trying to corrupt a young blonde-hair boy by making read his books. Needless to say that when Tsunade and Shizune heard this, they were less than pleased. When Jiraiya tried to explain that it wasn't true and that Naruto was lying, Naruto just played the innocent act perfectly, as he had both Tsunade and Shizune wrapped around his fingers, where they would believe anything he said to them. Hence both Shizune and Tsunade decided to teach Jiraiya a lesson about trying to corrupt Naruto. Jiraiya could not help but shudder as he remembered the vicious beating that he received at the hands of Tsunade, which was only matched by the one when he peeked on her when they were young. He also could not help but rub his rear end as he remembered how Shizune turned his rear into a pincushion, and shudder again at how close she came to turning his manhood into one as well. After the beating, Jiraiya was in for several months of long agonizing recovery, and any thought of payback on Naruto was quickly pushed aside. When Naruto came to Jiraiya and told him when he was in his cast that he was put in after the beating, if he tried any kind of payback or tried to skip out on his training again to go out peaking, then he would prank Jiraiya back with equal force if not worse, and he even threatened to tell Tsunade his little secret as well. Jiraiya of course agreed to this, and ever since then Naruto has had Jiraiya in his back pocket. "Honestly brat, this is on the up and up. I'll be back in about 2 days time tops, but I don't want you to tell Sarutobi sensei about your powers or what you can do. I also don't want you to tell or show anyone them, at least not until you become an official Genin and are fully integrated into your team, by which time I should be back to explain everything to the old man, as it's probably best that I explain everything to him," said Jiraiya. Naruto just nodded, where they then separated, where Jiraiya went off to meet his contact and Naruto continued on to the village. Soon after separating from Jiraiya, Naruto reached the main gate, where he quickly showed a side permission slip that Sarutobi sent him a few months ago so that he could enter the village without trouble. After entering it, Naruto headed to the Hokage residence to see Sarutobi. As he headed there, he looked around the village and saw all the different buildings and things in it, including the several ninjas walking in the streets with the civilian and even leaping on the rooftops. Not wanting to draw attention to himself, Naruto decided to walk on the street and take in the scenery. As he looked around, he saw the Hokage monument in front of him, with the heads of his great-grandfather, the Shodaime Hokage, his great-granduncle the Nidaime Hokage, his mother's teacher and his surrogate grandfather the Sandaime Hokage, and his father the Yondaime Hokage. As Naruto looked at the faces carved into the mountain, he knew he had a lot to live up to, and both his parents and his ancestors left a long casting shadow over him that he would need to overcome if he wished to be acknowledged, not as the son of the Yondaime Hokage and Tsunade of the Sennin, nor as the descendant of the founders of Konoha and of the Shodaime and Nidaime Hokages, but as himself, where he wished to stand up on his own 2 feet and prove himself worthy of standing on equally footing with them and become Hokage. Naruto had dreamed of one day becoming Hokage ever since he was 5 and learned about his ancestors. He became even more determined to become Hokage soon after he learned that the Yondaime was his father. But not only that, he also wanted to surpass them all, as he believed that it was the only real way that he would truly step out of the rest of his family's shadow and for people to truly acknowledge as himself and not as the child or descendant of other great and famous shinobis. Soon enough, Naruto reached the Hokage residence and entered it and went over the stairs that led to the Hokage's office. When he got there, he saw the Hokage's secretary to his right, who was at her desk writing up something. When she looked up, she saw Naruto to see what he wanted. "Can I help you, young man?" she asked. Yes, I would like to see the Hokage please," replied Naruto. Sorry, but the Hokage is a very busy man and you have to make an appointment to see him," said the secretary politely. "Well, the Hokage will be expecting me, as he knows I'm arriving here as I'm not from this village," spoke Naruto, although the secretary did not look convinced as to what he is saying. Look, could you just go into him and say that Naruto is here? He will know who I am, and if he doesn't then I leave. Okay, said Naruto, as he didn't want to waste any time on trying to convince the women to let him see his surrogate grandfather for the first time. Plus he didn't want to cause a scene in here, which was why he didn't tell her his full name. Very well then, said the secretary with a sigh, as she believed she was wasting her time asking the Hokage, as often enough young children came here wanting to talk to the Hokage. But when she entered the Hokage office and told him that a young blonde-haired boy carrying a katana on his back named Naruto was outside his office wanted to speak to him and saying that he was expecting him, the secretary was surprised to see an eager and happy look appear on the old Hokage's face, where he quickly called his Anbu that were hidden in his room rafters and told them to leave. After which he then told her to tell the Anbu that were outside his room to leave as well, and told her that she was dismissed for the rest of the day and she was to tell Naruto to come in. After the secretary and the Anbu left the Hokage's office, Naruto entered it, where Sarutobi quickly went over to Naruto and went and gave his surrogate grandson a long overdue grandfatherly hug, which Naruto was more than happy to return. Naruto, my boy, it's so good to finally see you. Look at you. You've gotten so big, spoke the Sandaime as he looked Naruto over. It seems like only yesterday when I last saw you, where you were just in diapers, he said, which caused Naruto to smile a little. As Hiruzen looked over his surrogate grandson, he could not help but be amazed at how he looked so much like his father despite the small differences he got from his mother, like her skin color and eye shape. You look so much like your fa, spoke Hiruzen, but quickly stopped himself from saying father. Like who? My father, said Naruto with a smirk, shocking the old Kage. Why you know about him, said the surprised Kage, to which Naruto just nodded. Did your mother or Jiraiya tell you? He asked, to which Naruto shook his head. Nope, I figured it out myself, replied Naruto, surprising the old Kage further. You figured it out yourself? Repeated the old Hokage in shock, where Naruto just nodded again. How? That's a long story that I can explain if you would sit down first, replied Naruto, to which both he and Sarutobi sat down on the two seats in front of the Hokage's desk. Naruto then went on to explain how he discovered about the Yondaime being his father and finding out about how his had sealed the Kyuubi in him, which of course surprised Sarutobi at first, but then started to chuckle at how Naruto was defiantly his parent's son. Naruto also then went on to tell how he had been doing over the years and what he had been up to, although he made it a point to leave out what his mother, Jiraiya, and Shizune had trained him in, as Jiraiya had told him. When Sarutobi asked him what they had trained him in, Naruto had told him that Jiraiya would explain when he got here in a few days' time from meeting his contact. Since Jiraiya had told him not to tell or reveal to anyone until he was fully a Konoha ninja and was on a team, which Sarutobi nodded in understanding and accepted to wait for Jiraiya to arrive and inform him. Naruto also told Sarutobi why his mother and Shizune weren't with him, since Sarutobi had wondered why they hadn't come with him. After explaining all this, Naruto and Sarutobi spent the next few hours talking and catching up with one another, where Naruto told him many different stories about the different things he did, including the different pranks he would play on Jiraiya, which made the old Hokage laugh in amusement. Naruto even told Sarutobi how he had befriended both Shien and Rurishio, Fire Daimyo's granddaughter, and how he had saved them both, too. Sarutobi had of course heard about both incidents, as he had heard from one of Tsunade's letters that Naruto had saved the high priestess daughter Shien from a group of Ame nins, while he had heard about Naruto saving the Fire Daimyo's granddaughter from a wild bear from the daimyo himself. Both incidents made the old Kage very proud of his surrogate grandson, proving for certain that he was his father's son. As just like with Minato, Naruto put himself in harm's way so to help save and protect others, he also could not help but chuckle to himself, as he had also heard that both girls had also been quite taken with him, which will no doubt cause Naruto much trouble and his mother many headaches in the near future if he continued with saving and attracting princess and other girls. After a while the two stopped talking, where Sarutobi got off his seat and went over to behind his desk, and they came back and handed Naruto a set of keys and a note and told him that they were the keys to his apartment where he would be staying and where it was, as the old Senju clan compound had been destroyed during the Kyuubi attack and Naruto couldn't stay in his father's home yet, as it would draw too much unwanted attention to him. Naruto of course understood this and nodded his head in understanding, after which Sarutobi then spoke. Now Naruto, the class graduation exam will begin tomorrow at 9:30 and I have already explained to the teacher a chunin named Iruka to expect you, although all he knows is that you're a new student who is going to take the exam who is trained elsewhere. He doesn't know who you really are, as I didn't want any leaks that you were arriving here, but that note will tell him who you really are, okay? Explained the Sandaime, to which Naruto just nodded. Also you should know that tomorrow morning, I will reveal your existence and your arrival to the council tomorrow morning and then to the rest of Konoha later on in the evening. Since as soon as the students learn who you really are, they will then tell their parents, who in turn will tell everyone else. But your father's identity must be kept secret, since as you know, if people learn your entire lineage then it was cause endless amount of trouble for you both inside and outside of Konoha. But even still keeping out who your father is, there are still many who will try and use you for their own means when they learn that Tsunade is your mother and that you're the heir to the Senju clan, explained Sarutobi, further to which Naruto nodded. I understand, Gigi, as Ka-chan and Uro-sennin explained it all to me before I came here, so I'm more than ready to handle them, answered Naruto. To which Sarutobi nodded and smiled at being called grandfather and at Jiraiya's nickname since it fitted him perfectly. Just as Naruto was about to leave, the double door flung open and a small brown-haired boy who looked to be about 8 and wore a long scarf around him burst in, holding a wooden kunai in his hand. Prepare to be defeated, old man, cried the boy as he charged forward with his wooden kunai, only to trip over his scarf and fall flat on his face, causing both Naruto and the Sandaime to have large sweat drops on the back of their heads. Embarrassed, the boy picked himself up and then quickly pointed his finger at Naruto accusingly. You tripped me, accused the boy. I did not, you tripped over your scarf, replied an annoyed Naruto as the boy was starting to annoy him. Yes you did, cried the boy, you ruined my super cool entrance. Ha! Not much of an entrance if you ask me, with you being so clumsy and falling flat on your face, replied Naruto, simply, which caused the boy to lose his cool and charged at Naruto with his wooden kunai. Naruto quickly sidestepped the boy's attack and grabbed his hand with the wooden kunai and slapped it out of his hand and then bonked the boy on the head, causing him to fall on the floor on his rear and hold his head in pain. Hey, you can't don't that to me, cried the boy as he held his swore head and looked up at Naruto. Can't I? Said Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Yay, as I'm the grandson of the Hokage, said the boy angrily, where he thought that upon hearing this Naruto would go on his knees and beg forgiveness. Unfortunately for him, Naruto wasn't intimidated by this news a bit, where he just grabbed the kid by the collar and lifted him up so that he was eye level with Naruto. Upon doing this, another voice shouted out, "Let his honorable grandson go immediately, you ruffian," where a tall man wearing dark sunglasses and a dark shinobi uniform entered the office. Yay, let me go or you will be in big trouble, said the boy as he struggled to get out of Naruto's gripe, but could not. At which point Naruto just brought the boy right up into his face and looked directly into his eyes. Listen, brat, I couldn't care less if you were the Hokage's grandmother, because if you think that's going to scare me, then you got another thing coming. Besides, if you want to talk about social rank, then I outrank you, as my great-grandfather and my great-granduncle were the ones who built this village. Not mention both of them were Hokages as well, so there, said Naruto. Naturally both the boy and the man, who had entered the office, had been stunned and confused when they heard this, while Sarutobi just sighed and rubbed his head, feeling a headache coming on, where he then decided to do some damage control before things began to go further out of control. Naruto, could you please let go of my grandson, please, he didn't mean anything by it, pleaded the old cage and sighed as his grandson was always getting into some kind of trouble. Naruto of course let him go, where the boy landed on his rear hard, after which he then picked himself up, while still ribbing his sore bum. Now before things escalate further, I believe some introductions are needed, spoke Sarutobi. Naruto, allow me to introduce you to my grandson Konohamaru and his private tutor Ebisu. After which Sarutobi then turned to Konohamaru. Ebisu, Konohamaru, Ebisu, allow me to introduce you to Senju Naruto, my former student Tsunade's son, and as he said, the great-grandson of the Shodaime Hokage and the great-grandnephew of the Nidaime Hokage, as well as sole heir to the Senju clan, spoke Sarutobi, completely shocking Konohamaru and completing stunning Ebisu. After a minute or so Ebisu regained himself, where he quickly bowed respectfully to Naruto. It is an honor to meet you, Senju-sama. Please forgive my rudeness a moment ago, as I had not known who you were, he spoke, as he had no idea whatsoever that Naruto was the heir to the founders of Konoha and heir to the noblest clan in all of Konoha, if not the shinobi world, let alone the fact that Tsunade had a child. Forget it. Call me Naruto and don't bow, as I hate people bowing to me, replied Naruto. Yes, of course, thank you Naruto-sama, replied Ebisu, where he bowed again, much to Naruto's annoyance, as he hated when people called him by those stuffy titles and bowed to him, as all he wanted was to be treated like a regular person. Hey Gigi, spoke Naruto, surprising both Konohamaru and Ebisu at how he addressed the Hokage. I'm going to take a walk around the village and get my bearings here, so I can at least enjoy being a normal person for the remainder of the day before half the entire village starts to treat me like the son of Kami or something like it, said Naruto. Very well Naruto, I see you tomorrow in Quat, replied the old cage, where he then turned to talk to Konohamaru and Ebisu. Several hours later, for the past few hours Naruto spent his time walking around the village and getting his bearings. During his walk around the village he saw things like the Konoha Hospital, the Konoha Hot Springs, the Konoha Library, the Memorial Stone, the Ninja Academy and the different training grounds. After he had fully looked around the village, Naruto decided to get something to eat, but just when he was about to go find a restaurant he suddenly heard some arguing around the corner. Come on, why won't you go out with me? Plenty of other girls would love the chance to go out with me, said a young man's voice. Then why don't you go ask one of them? Since I have already told you about a dozen different times, I am not interested in you. Besides, I heard plenty of things from girls you already dated and I have no interest in being one of your conquests for you to talk about to your friends, Guzan, answered a young girl's voice. Upon hearing this, Naruto peeked around the corner to see what was going on. When he did, he saw 3 tall medium-built boys, who were blocking the way of a medium-tall brown-haired girl, who was carrying a brown paper bag full of groceries in her arms. The boy in the middle, who was clearly the leader of the 3, then grabbed hold of the girl's arm and pulled it slightly, causing her to drop the bag and spill the groceries onto the ground. Now listen to me, you will do as I say and you will like it, because if you don't, I can get my father to make things very difficult for you and your old man and that run-down of stand of yours, spoke the leader. Let go of me, cried the girl as she tried to get out of the grip of the leader, but could not as it was too strong. Having seen enough, Naruto decided to intervene and stop this, since if there was one thing that Naruto hated was bullies, especially those that gang up on a helpless girl. She said let go, so I suggest that you do it, spoke Naruto as he came out from the corner. Beat it, kid, this doesn't concern you, spoke the leader as he just gave Naruto a passing glance before turning his attention back on the girl. I'm afraid it does, as if there is one thing I can't stand, it's seeing a bunch of thugs ganging up on a helpless girl and forcing her to do something against her will by threatening her and her family, said Naruto. You got a big mouth, kid, and if you know what good for you, you will shut it and leave while you still can, said the leader as he glared at Naruto. Sorry, can't do that, replied Naruto as he took off his sling and sword and held it in his right hand. Upon seeing Naruto taking his sword off his back, the leader and the 2 others started to laugh. Ha, 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 you actually think you can take on all 3 of us by yourself, said the leader. I don't think I can, I know I can, now let go of the girl and you and your boyfriends won't have to limp your way to the hospital, said Naruto. The leader just sneered at Naruto's threat, believing that Naruto was no threat to him and was just some punk kid trying to act the hero. You got guts, kid, I give you that, but not a lot of brains, and guts can only get you so far, where they usually result in you getting into situations that are over your head, just like now, said the leader, where he then turned to the 2 boys next to him. Get him. The 2 boys quickly went over, where the first one to the left went over and tried and grabbed Naruto by the collar. But just as the boy stretched out his hand to grab Naruto, Naruto quickly grabbed onto the boy's wrist with his free left hand, and twisted it, causing the boy to fall onto the ground onto his knees and cry out in pain, as Naruto was a small twist away from breaking his wrist from the wrist lock. Upon seeing what had happened to the first boy, the second boy quickly raised his fist to hit Naruto and help his friend. Seeing the second boy, Naruto let go of the first boy's wrist and ducked under the second boy's fist and hit the boy right in the stomach with the end of his sheathed katana, causing the boy to double over in pain as he held his stomach. Naruto quickly raised his sheathed katana up and smacked right into the bottom of the boy's chin, causing the boy's head to be smacked backwards and break several of the boy's lower teeth. The boy then fell backwards, where he held his bleeding mouth in pain and cried muffled screams of pain with his hand covering his mouth. As this was happening, the first boy quickly got up off the ground and went to try and hit Naruto when his back was turned, but unfortunately for him, Naruto saw him and he quickly twirled around to avoid the hit. He then hit the first boy at the back of his head with his sheathed katana, where thanks to his momentum from charging forward combined with the hit to the back of his head, the boy fell forward onto the ground. The boy then tried to turn around and get up, but just as he tried to turn his head, Naruto kicked him right in the face, breaking the boy's nose. The boy stayed on the ground as he held his now broken nose, unable to concern himself with anything else other than his now broken nose. After seeing his friends being handled by Naruto, the leader of the 3 started to get nervous, but he quickly pushed that aside, as he wasn't going to let some kid intimidate him. After which he let go of the girl and quickly charged forward at Naruto, who just sighed when he saw the leader of the 3 charging at him like a fool and just muttered baka and quat. Naruto then let the boy come right up to him, where he then sidestepped the leader, when he tried to punch Naruto, after which Naruto then stuck out his leg, causing the leader to trip over it and fall onto the ground. As the leader tired to pick himself up, Naruto kicked him in the side, causing him to fall onto his back, where the leader then tired to pick himself up again. But when he did, he felt a foot stand on his groin, causing the boy to howl in pain, after which he then found the tip of a katana blade right above his neck. When he looked up, he saw annoyed Naruto looking down, gathering what courage he had left, and sneered up at Naruto. Do you have any idea who I am? I'm Furyoku Guzan, son of Furyoku Kagato, who is one of the wealthiest and most influential men in all of Konoha, and is a member of the Council of Konoha, and the moment he hears about this he will make you pay dearly for what you did to me and quat. Unfortunately for Guzan, Naruto wasn't the less bit intimidated by Guzan's threat and just lowered his sword a bit more down at the boy's throat and cutting the skin slightly and making it bleed. When Guzan felt the blade at his neck and causing it to bleed slightly, he started to get scared and began to believe that Naruto was going to kill him. WWWH, what are YY yo you doing? said Guzan panic-like. WWH, weren't you least listening to me? I heard you quite clearly, and I don't care. Even if you were the son of Kami himself I still would not care, replied Naruto, as he glared down at the now scared older boy. Wait, don't do it. I give you AA and anything why you want, money, jewels, gold, I even do anything why you want me to do. Just please don't kill me, begged the boy. Becoming disgusted with the cowardly older boy, Naruto then spoke. Fine then, here's what I want you to do. From now on, you're never to bother or even come near this girl ever again. Because if you do I will take away what makes you a man, despite how small it is, said Naruto as he lowered his katana between the boy's leg, making him even more nervous. And the same goes if I ever hear that you trying to force yourself on another girl again. Am I clear? Said Naruto and then finished with a small killing intent, which caused a large wet spot started to form between his legs. Not trusting his voice to speak, the boy just nodded, where Naruto then removed his katana from between the boy's legs and stepped away. He then told him to help his friends and to get out of his sight. The boy quickly helped the other two boys up and they then all ran off with their tails between their legs. Once the three older boys were gone, Naruto put his katana back in his sheath and then slung it back on his back, after which he then turned around to the brown-haired girl he rescued from the boys. Are you okay, miss? He asked. Yes, I'm fine, thank you, replied the girl, where she started to pick up the groceries that fell to the ground after Guzan had grabbed her. Here, let me help you, said Naruto as knelt down to help the girl with her groceries. Thanks again, eh? Said the girl slightly embarrassed, as she did not know her savior's name. Naruto, he replied. Then, thank you Naruto, and by the way my name is Ayame, said the girl named Ayame. It is nice to meet you Ayame, said Naruto as he held out his hand and shook her hand when she held it. I don't mean to sound ungrateful because I am. But you should not have done that, as Guzan will tell his father and can cause a lot of trouble for you, said Ayame. Don't worry about me, I can handle the likes of them, said Naruto, to which Ayame just smiled. Once all the groceries had been all picked up they headed back to Ayame's father's stand, as Naruto had insisted on carrying the groceries for her and escort back, in case Guzan and his goons tried something else on her way back to her father's stand. Soon enough they arrived at the stand, where Naruto saw that it was a ramen stand. Your stand is a ramen stand? Asked Naruto, to which Ayame just nodded. After which Naruto almost yelled out in excitement as ramen was his favorite meal in the world. When they went into the stand, Naruto saw a middle-aged man in the stand making some noodles with his hands. When he turned around he saw Naruto and Ayame entering the stand. Ah, good Ayame, you're here. I was beginning to get worried as I expected you back 15 minutes ago, said the man who was clearly Ayame's father. Sorry To-san, but as I was on my way back here from the store I met Guzan and his goons, replied Ayame with a frown. To which her father had his own frown as he knew all about Guzan and his attempts to woo his daughter and make her yet another one of his conquests. But, thankfully Ayame was too smart for his smooth talking, where she politely told him each time he tried that she wasn't interested in him, although it had not stopped him from keep trying. Ayame's father had been on more than one occasion been tempted to punch the spoilt punk as he continued to harass his daughter, but each time Ayame had calmed him down, telling him doing so would only cause him trouble from Guzan's father. Was he harassing you again? Asked Ayame's father, to which she nodded and told him how this time Guzan had threatened to ruin their stand if she didn't do what he wanted her to. When Tenchi, Ayame's father, heard this, he was furious and was about to go out and hunt down Guzan and wring his neck. Fortunately for Guzan, Ayame was able to stop her father and tell him how Naruto came and helped her and how he handled Guzan and his goons. After hearing this, Tenchi smiled in satisfaction and thanked Naruto for helping his daughter, and as a reward he offered Naruto a free meal at the stand, which Naruto quickly agreed, as he was hungry. For a while Naruto talked to Ayame and her father as they made the ramen and told him how he was new here and was entering the ninja academy for the final exams, since he had been training outside the village with his family and was given special permission by the Hokage to do the exam and skip the academy years. This of course impressed both Ayame and Tenchi, as they knew that for Naruto to be allowed to skip the academy years and to simply do the final exams to become a full Konoha shinobi he would have to be quite skilled. Although Ayame already had a fair idea considering how easily Naruto had handled Guzan and his goons. After a little while Ayame handed Naruto a large bowl of hot ramen and told him to enjoy it, which he did. For the moment that the hot noodles were in his mouth, Naruto had stars in his eyes as this was the best ramen he had ever tasted. Within seconds Naruto quickly ate everything in the bowl. That was great Ayame-chan, said Naruto, which made the girl smile. Thanks, my To-san taught me everything I know about cooking, she replied. Is there any more? Asked Naruto as he was still hungry and was hoping to have more of Ayame's delicious ramen. Sure, as much as you like, said Ayame with a smile and went to get more ramen from the large pot. As Ayame turned around to get more ramen, Naruto started to get a dreamy look in his eyes as he stared at Ayame. A pretty girl who can cook delicious ramen for me whenever I want. I think I'm in love, thought Naruto as he thought about him and Ayame married and her cooking him lots and lots of ramen every day when he came home. 3 After about half an hour and 27 bowls of ramen later, Naruto was finally full. The amount of ramen that Naruto ate naturally shocked Ayame and Tenchi, as the only people that they knew that could eat that much ramen were the Akimichi clan members and Uzumaki Kushina. Once he was full, Naruto thanked Ayame and Tenchi for the free meal and promised to come back again soon. Both Ayame and Tenchi said that he was more than welcome too, although Tenchi did joke that next time Naruto would have to pay, which caused Naruto to smirk a little. After his meal, Naruto started to head to his new apartment, which was in a quiet area with not too many people so that Naruto wouldn't be hounded by people once they knew he was Tsunade's son and heir to the Senju clan. As Naruto headed home, he felt that someone was following him. At first he had thought it was nothing, but when he quickly turned around he saw a small figure hiding behind a corner. Deciding to find out who was following him, Naruto quickly turned into the next corner that led to an empty street, where he then made a quick shadow clone and had the clone continue down the street, while he jumped up to a nearby rooftop and hid himself so that he could see who was following him. Soon enough Naruto saw that the figure that was following was the Sandaime's grandson Konohamaru, who from the corner he was hiding behind, was watching the Naruto shadow clone walk slowly down the street. Deciding to find out why the boy was following, Naruto quickly but silently jumped down from the roof and snuck up on the unsuspecting Konohamaru, where he then grabbed the boy by the back of his collar and lifted him up in the air with just one hand. "What the hell?" cried Konohamaru in surprise, before he then started to cry out and yelling to let him go. But when he saw that it was Naruto who had him, a confused look appeared on the young Sotobi's face. "You," he pointed accusingly. But how? "I was watching you and you were down there," said Konohamaru, as he looked back down at the Naruto shadow clone who had stopped and waved at him with a smile before he puffed out of existence. "Ha," said Konohamaru in confusion as he still did not understand what had happened. Seeing this, Naruto told him that it was just a bunshine. "I knew you were strong and this proves it," cried the boy, after which he started to say out loud about how he was finally able to find someone strong enough to teach him to beat his grandfather and be finally rid of his lame tutor Ebisu. As he started to say this to himself, a large sweat drop formed on the back of Naruto's head since the jutsu he used was just a clone, and although the technique he used was a Jonin level 1, it still wasn't a big a deal as Konohamaru made it out to be. Deciding to find as to why exactly Konohamaru was following, Naruto asking why he was following. "Okay kid, why are you following me and what do you mean by training you? You already have a Jonin training you, so you don't need me to train you," said Naruto. "Yes I do, as you're the only one that won't treat me like a royal brat and keep calling me honorable grandson as well as all that other stuff," replied Konohamaru, where he began to explain how people were always treating him like royalty just because he was the grandson of the Hokage, where they never really acknowledged him as himself and were always comparing him to his grandfather. Upon hearing this, Naruto was sympathetic towards Konohamaru's plight as he knew what it was like to grow up in the shadow of great people where he had a lot to live up. Since his father was the 4th Hokage aka Konoha no Kyosenko, Konoha Yellow Flash, hero of the 3rd Great Shinobi World War and savior of Konoha from the Kyuubi. His mother was the legendary Slug Princess, member of the Densetsu no Sannin and probably the world greatest medic whose skill helped Konoha win the 2nd Great Shinobi World War. While his great-grandfather and great-granduncle were the main founders of Konoha and the Shodaime and Nidaime Hokages of Konoha and the teachers of the Sandaime Hokage. Hence, like with Konohamaru, Naruto had a lot to live up to as the rest of his family cast a long shadow over him, where he had no doubt that people here would soon start calling him Senju-sama and keep comparing him to his mother and ancestors. Which was why, like with Konohamaru, Naruto wanted to become Hokage so that he would finally stand out from the rest of his family and stand on equal or higher standing they had. After thinking for a few minutes, Naruto decided to help Konohamaru out a little, where when he told the boy that he helped train him, Konohamaru then started shout and jump for joy. As Konohamaru did this, a devious smirk appeared on Naruto's face, as he thought of something that would make for an excellent prank for both the Sandaime and many other people. Once Naruto had calmed Konohamaru down, he brought him over to a small clearing in the forest near one of the training grounds. Once there, Naruto taught Konohamaru a jutsu that he created that would be useful to him and that would allow him to beat his grandfather. Although it had taken several hours, he eventually got it. Once he did, he made Konohamaru swear never to tell anyone who taught him it. Later on in the Sarutobi's home, after a long day of doing paperwork, the old Hokage came home to relax and even spend some time with his grandson who lived with him, ever since his eldest son and his daughter-in-law, Konohamaru parents, died on a mission together. Just when Sarutobi was about to sit down in his armchair in the living room, Konohamaru came running into the room with an excited look on his face. "Hey Gigi, I learned a new jutsu that I want to show you," cried the boy as he was eager to try out the jutsu that Naruto had told him could beat his grandfather and nearly any guy in the village. Smiling at his grandson's excitement, Sarutobi told Konohamaru to show him his new jutsu. Having his grandfather go ahead, Konohamaru quickly did a hand seal for a hedge and then cried out Oiroke no jutsu, sexy technique, after which a puff of smoke appeared around Konohamaru. Where once it dissipated, a young attractive brunette woman appeared where Konohamaru was. The woman was naked and had long brown hair that went down her rear. The smoke, although did cover certain key parts of her body, Sarutobi could still see her perfect hourglass figure and her attractive face. When the old Hokage saw this, a geyser of blood shot out of his nose and blasted him across the room to hit the wall at the other end of the room and passed out from the blood loss, although he did have a perverted grin on his face. When Konohamaru saw this, he quickly turned back to normal and started to jump up and down, shouting happily that he had finally beat his grandfather. Where he then went over and took the Hokage hat from his unconscious grandfather and ran off happily, shouting out that he was the Hokage now, all the while leaving his unconscious grandfather bleeding from the nose with his perverted grin still plastered on his face. Chapter 10, Revealed. 9 a.m. Konoha Council Room. In the early hours of the next morning, the council room in Konoha was busy with activity as all the clan heads of all of Konoha's major clans, along with several civilian council members, as well as the Anbu commander and the shinobi elders Homura, Koharu, and Danzo. They had all been gathered here in this early hour due to the Sandaime Hokage had summoned them all for a special emergency council meeting. Although the strange thing was that none of them knew what was the emergency that the Hokage had summoned them for, not even the Hokage's advisors, the shinobi elders. After a little while, once everyone had settled into their seats in the council room, the Sandaime Hokage entered the room and took his high seat in the council room. Good morning to you all, and thank you all for coming so quickly for this meeting in this early hour on such short notice, as I know it must be an inconvenience for you all, spoke Sarutobi. What is it that was so urgent that you had to speak to us about, Hokage-sama? Asked Homura. The reason why I have gathered you all here today is to inform you all that yesterday a new Jinan hopeful, a young boy in fact, has arrived and will be participating in the academy exam today to become a Jinan of our village, answered Sarutobi. Surely you did not call this meeting just to tell us this? Asked Koharu. Actually I did, Koharu replied Sarutobi, surprising many at the Hokage calling a meeting for such a trivial matter. Then there must be something different about this boy then. If you called this meeting to tell us about him, spoke Nara Shikaku, who was on the verge of falling to sleep during this troublesome meeting. At this Sarutobi smirked. Trust Nara to hit the nail with the hammer. You are quite correct, Nara-san, as there is indeed something different with this boy, answered the Sandaime with a growing smirk. This boy has lived and has been trained outside the village for his whole life. And you have let this boy, who is an outsider to our village, in it, and allowed him to try and become a shinobi for our village without even scanning him or interrogating him, spoke Danzo with a raised eyebrow. It seems that you are getting senile in your old age, Sarutobi, to let a boy from outside our village, who you say has been trained in the shinobi arts outside our village, and let him try and become a shinobi for our village. For all we know, the boy could be a deep cover spy sent into our village to spy on it and quat. Letting the insult about his ability to run the village slide, Sarutobi decided to answer Danzo's remark as he was going to enjoy the look on Danzo. He revealed Naruto heritage, or at least partly reveal it. The scanning and the interrogation was not needed, Danzo, as I know who the boy is and his mother who trained him, replied Sarutobi with his smirk growing all the more. And exactly who is this boy, Hokage-sama? Asked Yamanaka Inoiki, who was starting to get annoyed, as the Hokage had yet to answer the question, as to who was this boy and why he was being allowed to skip the 4-year-long training in the academy and go right to the exam. The boy name is Naruto, or to be more precise, Senju Naruto, said Sarutobi with a grin, as he saw the utter shocked and stunned looks on all the council members' faces. Nara Shikaku was now wide awake and wide-eyed. Yamanaka Inoiki's jaw had dropped and hit the council table. Akimichi Choza, who had been eating some buttered toast, had actually stopped eating and dropped it, showing how shocked he was, since to see Akimichi dropped food was like seeing a hyperactive Nara. Aburame Shibi dark sunglasses actually slide down enough to allow the Sandaime to see that the Aburame clan head had dark gray eyes. The civilian council members were gapping like fish out of water. Homura and Koharu were wide-eyed and gapping in disbelief, while Danzo was simply wide-eyed. Inuzuka Tsume was utterly speechless, which was a first, as usually the Inuzuka clan head was never quiet for very long and was often the most vocal member of the council, well, maybe except for the civilian members when something upset them. Although the Anbu commander mask kept Sarutobi from seeing the Anbu commander's shocked face, his keen shinobi hearing did allow him to hear a gasp of utter astonishment coming from the Anbu commander. Finally, Hyuga Hayashi, whose face had a look of being utterly flabbergasted, which was the most humorous-looking face among the council members, since it was very rare to see the normally neutral and unreadable Hyuga clan head to be so emotional and utterly out of his normal controlled element. Soon enough the council members got out of their shock where there was much shouting and arguing in the room. Among them was Furyoku Kagato, who was the loudest one shouting. "That's impossible," cried Kagato in utter disbelief. "Tsunade-sama is the only remaining member of the Senju clan. He must be an imposter." "I can assure council member Furyoku that Naruto is indeed a Senju in both name and in blood," replied Sarutobi calmly. "And how exactly can you be so certain of this, Sarutobi?" asked Koharu, as she found it hard to accept that there was another Senju member other than Tsunade alive, without any of them knowing about it. Although still at the same time she knew that her former teammate Sarutobi was no fool and could not be easily tricked, hence he had to have some kind of hard evidence that proved this astonishing claim. "That is rather simple, Koharu. I was there when he was born, and I know his mother," replied the Sandaime, who was smirking again as he was going to enjoy the looks of shock and disbelief on the council faces once he told them. "And who is his mother?" asked Shikaku, who had already guessed who it was as it was obvious to him and a few other council members. "His mother is my former student, Tsunade," replied Sarutobi calmly as if he was discussing the weather with them, while inwardly he was laughing his head to at the faces of the council members as they could not believe what their Hokage had just said, as the council were frozen in complete shock, while a certain Nara clan head sighed and muttered silently to himself so that no one could hear him. "Troublesome Hokage and Quat." Once the council member got over their shock, the council once again was filled with loud voices of arguing and shouts of disbelief. Another civilian council member named Akira Shin, who was able to shout over the other voices and cry out in disbelief, "Tsunade-sama had a child." To which the old Hokage just nodded. "Hokage-sama, when did this happen?" asked the stunned Homura, as he still could not get over his head that Tsunade actually had a child, as he along with many others thought that the Senju line would die with her, as she never tried to have any children with anyone after the death of her lover Dan. Although it was not because of lack of effort on Koharu and his part, as both of them, along with several other members on the council, had tried dozens of times to arrange for her to have children with several different shinobi candidates. That would help her produce strong children who would become powerful shinobis when they grew up. Unfortunately for them, Tsunade had stubbornly refused all of them and left the village shortly after with her new apprentice, the niece of her late lover Dan, Shizune, and along with her was their hopes of rebuilding the Senju clan. But now with this revelation their hopes were restored, at the Senju clan line continuing to exist. "Tsunade had Naruto about 12 years ago in this village, as she was brought into it secretly," answered Sarutobi. "And why were we not informed of this, when she was giving birth?" asked Danzo with a neutral expression, although inside he was very keen on learning everything he could about Naruto, as he knew that Naruto would be an extremely valuable asset to both him and the village if was trained and used correctly. "The reason why no one was told about this was because Tsunade wished it to be kept quiet and made me along with her apprentice Shizune and Jiraiya not to tell anyone," replied the old Hokage. "And why were we not told?" "We had a right to know this," said Koharu, as she believed that news such as this should have been revealed to them the moment it happened, as she and Homura believed that as members of the council and as former students of Senju Tobirama, the Nidaime Hokage, they had a right to know of a new Senju heir being born, as the boy was the best hope of rebuilding the Senju clan, the main founders of Konoha, and was the descendant of both the Shadaime and Nidaime Hokages. Tsunade believed that if she told you or other members of the council, you would try and force her to stay here and raise Naruto here, said Sarutobi. "And why should he not? The boy is of Senju blood and heir to the Senju clan, and he belongs in Konoha, as it was his clan who were the main founders of our village. If the boy had stayed, then he could have been protected here and have gotten anything he needed." Tsunade took an unnecessary risk in leaving the village with the boy. If the other villages had learned of his existence and found out that he was living outside the village, then they would have either sent shinobis to kidnap the boy so to rebuild the Senju clan in their villages, or they would have sent shinobis to kill the boy and prevent him rebuilding the clan in Konoha, replied Koharu. Tsunade believed that the risk was worth taking, which I agreed with as well at the time, since if Naruto had stayed in the village and the people learned of Naruto's lineage, they would have treated Naruto like royalty and given him everything and denied him nothing, answered Sarutobi. "And why should he not be treated as so? The boy is the sole heir to the most noble clan in all of Konoha," spoke another civilian member named Tanaka Soka. "Because if Naruto had been raised here, with all that fame and attention, especially at a young age, it would be enough to turn any child's head, where Naruto would grow up spoiled, arrogant, and would not value hard work, since he would believe that just because he is descendant of powerful shinobis he would be handed power on a silver platter. Naruto would also believe that he is better than others because of his heritage and belittle and look down on others, who he believed were not worthy of being around him, which many people would help encourage by continuing praising him for being the heir to the Senju clan. Hence this is why I believed it was best that Naruto was raised outside the village, where he would be away from all that and would be raised as a normal boy, who respects others and does not believe he is better than them because of his noble heritage," spoke Sarutobi, who was glad that the plan worked, as Naruto had become a perfectly normal and respectful young man just as he had hoped for. After hearing the Sandaime Hokage's reasoning, many of the council members such as the clan heads, the Anbu commanders and even most of the shinobi elders had to agree that what the Sandaime and Tsunade had done was indeed the correct decision, as the last thing that they needed was a spoiled and arrogant shinobi who would most likely embarrass or shame the Senju clan and their village. But still there was some that still did not like the fact that the knowledge of Naruto's existence was kept from them. But Sarutobi, the fact remains, that you and Tsunade took a great risk with the boy's life, where he could have been easily killed or kidnapped by our enemies had they learned of his existence, spoke Koharu. True, there was some risk, Koharu, but not as great as you claim, as Tsunade took every precaution, when keeping Naruto's existence a secret and not to attract attention to them. The fact that Naruto is here, alive, healthy and safe, shows how she was able to do it and raise him to be a happy, healthy and normal boy, said Sarutobi with a hit of pride, as Tsunade had raised Naruto to become a fine young man, showing she had been a good mother to him. Deciding to change the subject a little, Shibi decided to ask something that he had been wondering since he learned of Naruto being Tsunade's son. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but I have been wondering, who is Naruto-sama father? At this question much mutter began with the council, as many of them had forgotten that fact and were now curious as to who was Naruto's father. I'm afraid I do not know, lied Sarutobi, as Tsunade refused to tell me who was Naruto's father, although she told me before she gave birth that Naruto's father was dead and quat. Upon hearing this, many of the council members were unhappy, but they soon got over it, as it was not really important who Naruto's father was. At the same time, though, Sarutobi was smirking inside his head, as he imaged a look of shock that council members would have if he told them who Naruto's father was. But he quickly pushed that thought aside, as he knew that if he did tell the council, then it would most likely be leaked to the rest of the village, where the people would be practically bowing to Naruto on hands and knees wherever he walked, because of his heritage, and he would be hounded by an endless amount of families that would try to have Naruto marry one of their daughters, so to improve their social status. Not to mention other villages like Iwa would eventually find out, and they would send out countless assassins after Naruto for revenge for what the Yondaime did to them and to prevent him from growing up and becoming a threat to them. It seems then that fate must love ironies, spoke Hiashi, and gaining everyone's attention, as it seems that there are now only 2 members each, belonging to the Senju and Uchiha clans, where the youngest members and heirs of both clans are in now and Konoha and are now in the same graduation class, while the other members of each clans are living outside the village, where one is a wanted S-class missing nin and the other is living in self-imposed exile and quat. At this, much murmuring was heard in the council room, as many had to agree with the Hiashi's statement about it being ironic, as it was very likely that the legendary rivalry of the Senju and Uchiha clans could once again restart with those 2 boys, in the very village that their ancestors helped build together, especially if you consider the fact that they are in the same class together and will be on either the same team or on rival teams, where if you also consider their pedigree, as both boys have the same blood as some of the most powerful shinobis that have ever lived running through their veins, then you can no doubt expect that both their clans' ancient rivalry for one another would remerge again in them. Hokage-sama, spoke the Anbu commander, if I may ask, do you know what exactly young Naruto-sama is capable of and what his mother has taught him? This question of course got much muttering from the council members, as they were all curious to know what the new Senju heir was capable of doing and if he had inherited any of his mother's talents. I'm afraid not, as Naruto would not say, but he has told me that my other former student Jiraiya would be arriving here in a few days' time to inform me, as he helped to train Naruto, replied the old cage truthfully. Although many on the council were disappointed at not knowing what Naruto was capable of, there was still exciting muttering to be heard in the room, as the fact that Naruto had been trained by not 1 but 2 senins, told them that Naruto could be very powerful for his young age. Many even began to mutter that Naruto could be the Senju clan version of Itachi, although without the whole going mad and killing off his clan part. For the next few minutes the council continued to discuss different things about Naruto, but after a while Sarutobi decided to end the meeting, as the council knew all that they needed to know for now. When the meeting ended, the council members left the council room, continued to mutter amongst themselves about Naruto. Many who had sons around Naruto age planned to try get them to befriend Naruto, while those with daughters planned to try and get their daughters to get close to him in the hopes that they could eventually set up an arranged marriage between their daughters and him, since sooner or later Naruto would have to marry and have children of his own, so to rebuild and continue on the Senju line. 9:30 at Konoha's academy. Today was a big day for Chunin tutor Iruka, who was standing in front of 29 young Jinan hopefuls who had been his students for the past 4 years, many of which he was going to miss as he had grown quiet found of them all. As he looked over them he saw several that he knew would pass and become genins and possible great ninjas in time. Students such as Uchiha Sasuke, who was the last surviving Uchiha member of the once great Uchiha clan in the village, who had been wiped out by Sasuke's older brother Uchiha Itachi. Another person was Nara Shikamaru, who despite his lazy habits, where he would do hardly any work and spend most of his time sleeping, had a brilliant mind and was a tactical genius. Also another noteworthy student was Aburame Shino, who was like all Aburame clan members, who were logical calm-thinking shinobis with sound minds and good tactical skills. After a few minutes of reminiscing, Iruka believed he had done enough and decided to get things going for the exam, where he then signaled to his assistant Mizuki that it was time to begin the exam. "Good morning, class," spoke Iruka, where the class responded in like. "Now, as you know, today is the last day that we will be together as a class, and I hope you are all ready from your exam now. As you know, we will," said Iruka, but was then interrupted by a knock on the door. Iruka then turned to the door and told the person to enter, where a young spiky blonde-haired boy in a green zip-up top and green trousers and a sword on his back came in. "Excuse me, are you Iruka-san?" asked the boy, where Iruka just nodded. "I was told that you were expecting me," replied the boy. Upon hearing this, Iruka suddenly remembered that a few weeks ago the Hokage had told him that a boy from outside village would be attending the academy exam, as he had been given special permission by the Hokage to do so. Iruka mentally slapped himself for forgetting this, where he then looked over to the boy and smiled. "Yes, of course, forgive me, I forgot that you would be joining us today," said Iruka. "That is okay, Iruka-san, I understand. Also, I was told by the Jiji to give you this," said Naruto, who got a confused look from Iruka and everyone else in the room, excepted for Sasuke, Shino and Shikamaru, as they hardly ever show any sign of interest in anything, when Naruto said Jiji. "And may I ask who is your Jiji?" asked Iruka. "The Sandaime Hokage, of course," said Naruto plainly. "That's a lie," cried a long pink-haired girl as she stood up and pointed at Naruto accusingly. "The Hokage has only one grandson and he is only 8 in quad." Naruto turned to the girl and looked at her angrily, as he hated to be called a liar when he wasn't lying. "I'm not lying. Jiji may not be my grandfather by blood, but he is the closest thing to one that I have, as he was like a father to my mother." "Here, this explains everything," said Naruto, as he then turned and handed Iruka the note that Sarutobi gave him yesterday. Iruka took the note and spent the next few minutes reading what the Hokage had said on it. When he finished, Iruka's eyes were as wide as saucers, where he turned to Naruto, who just nodded, telling him it was true. Iruka knew it wasn't a fake, as he knew the Hokage's writing, but he still had a hard time believing what he had just read and just spent the next 2 minutes staring at Naruto. This of course greatly annoyed him, as he didn't like people staring at him, as it felt creepy. "Iruka-sensei, what's wrong?" asked a blonde-haired girl named Ino. "What was in that note, and why are you staring at that boy?" she continued to ask, as she hated being ignored and kept out of some juicy gossip, and this look definitely looked like the juicy kind. Iruka quickly got over his shock and then turned to his class, although the shock of what he just found out could still be seen on his face. "Class, we have a new student who will be joining us in the exam, who has been trained outside the village with his family. Hence he has been given special permission by the Hokage himself to be allowed to skip the standard academy training years and go right to the graduation exam to become an official shinobi of Konoha," spoke Iruka, where he would have continued had Kiba not interrupted him. "What?" cried Kiba, who was angry that this kid who came out of nowhere was given special permission by the Hokage to skip the 4 years of training that the rest of them had to do. Even Sasuke was annoyed by this, as he was never given that offer and he was the last Uchiha in Konoha. "As I said, Kiba, he has been training with his family outside the village, and the Hokage feels that he is more than ready to take the academy exam. Due to his training with his family, and to put him in the proper training program of the academy would just hinder his growth," replied Iruka calmly. "Then who the hell is this guy?" said Kiba angrily, as he pointed at Naruto and glared at him. "And what the hell makes him so much more special than us to be allowed to skip the academy training years that the rest of us did?" said Kiba, and was backed up by his K9 partner Akamaru, who barked in agreement. "His name is Naruto, Senju Naruto," replied Iruka, shocking everyone in the room, including Iruka assistant Mizuki. "It is nice to meet you all," spoke Naruto as he bowed respectfully to the class. "But Iruka-sensei, that's impossible. You said that the only remaining member of the Senju clan was Tsunade-sama of the Senin," said the long pink-haired girl in surprise. "Well, Sakura, I'm afraid that I was misinformed, as Naruto here is indeed a member of the Senju clan, as he is Tsunade-sama-san," answered Iruka, shocking everyone in the room further, as none of them even knew that Tsunade of the Senin had a child. For the next few minutes everyone in the room minus Iruka just stared at Naruto in a mixture of wonder and awe, which greatly annoyed Naruto. A member of the legendary Senju clan, and the son of one of the Densetsu no Sanin, legendary 3 ninjas, perhaps he might be worth some time and actually be a challenge, unlike the rest of these losers in quad, thought Sasuke as he eyed Naruto with a calculated look and measured him up, so to see if he was worth his time. Tsunade-sama had a son. Orochimaru-sama will want to know this, thought Mizuki. "Now Naruto, if you please, will you sit up at the top next to Hinata over there so that we can begin the exam," said Iruka. Naruto nodded and even smiled at the Chunin tutor, as he was glad that Iruka treated him like any other student and didn't call him Naruto-sama and quat. Although his smile quickly faded when he saw that everyone in the class were staring at him as he went up to his seat to the young Hyuga girl called Hinata. "Oh hiyu Hinata-san, it's nice to meet you," said Naruto with a friendly smile and held out his hand in friendship. Hinata, of course, being very shy and insecure, and was very hesitant to say anything to someone from such a famed, renowned and powerful clan, one more renowned, powerful and famous than her own, as well as the son of the strongest kunoichi in Konoha if not the entire world. Hence it was only naturally for her to be intimidated by him, as she was afraid of saying or doing something wrong that would make him angry at her and her clan, making her an even greater shame and failure to her father and to her clan. "KK Kanocha NNN Naruto Sasama," stuttered Hinata nervously. "Please call me Naruto, as I hate being called Naruto-sama along with the rest of those stuffy titles," replied Naruto with a friendly smile, which of course made the girl blush bright red, at being allowed to call someone of the same if not higher social status as Naruto in such a common title, as if they were on equal status or were already well acquainted. Hi, na and Naruto-san, stuttered Hinata again, which caused Naruto smile, which in turn made the girl blush brighter red. Before either of them could even speak again, Mizuki came up and handed them both the question sheets for the exam. For the next 2.5 hours, Naruto and the other students worked on the exam questionnaire. The questionnaire wasn't all that hard, as Naruto had already gone all over this kind of stuff with Shizune and his mother. Once time was up, Mizuki came up and collected all the sheets from the students, where Iruka then told them to come outside with them to do the practical parts of the exam, which was something that Naruto was looking forward to. Iruka then told them that they were going to test them on their throwing and aiming, where they would first throw their shurikens at the target pole, after which they were then to throw their shurikens at the 3 target dummies. For the next hour each of the students took their turns at the target poles and the target dummies. Shino hit 8 out of the 10 targets points on the target pole, and got 3 out of 5 target points on the first target dummy, 4 out of 5 on the second dummy and 4 out of 5 again on the third. Kiba hit 6 out of the 10 targets points on the target pole, and got 3 out of 5 target points on the first target dummy, 2 out of 5 on the second dummy and 4 out of 5 on the third. Sakura hit 5 out of the 10 targets points on the target pole, and got 2 out of 5 target points on the first target dummy, 1 out of 5 on the second dummy and 3 out of 5 on the third. Hinata hit 7 out of the 10 targets points on the target pole, and got 4 out of 5 target points on the first target dummy, 3 out of 5 on the second dummy and 4 out of 5 again on the third. Finally, the last students remaining were Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke got all the targets points on the target pole at once, where he threw all 10 of his shurikens at once, where they all hit the targets points on the target pole dead center at roughly the same time. Upon seeing this, Sasuke's fangirls started to scream and cheer loudly at how their Sasuke-kun was so cool and talented and that he was the best. Sasuke for his part ignored the girls screaming, while Naruto cringed at the loud screams, after which he shook his head in annoyance, as his mother had told him all about fangirls and how they were the bane of all true kunoichis. He could also not help but be disappointed that all the girls in the class, minus Hinata, were fangirls, which went to show how far the Konoha Academy standards had fallen since his mother's time, and it would greatly annoy her when she came to Konoha, and he told her this. Naruto then turned to watch Sasuke as he then threw some more shurikens at the target dummies, where he hit all 5 target points on all 3 target dummies. This of course resulted in more screams of joy from Sasuke's fangirls, much to Naruto's annoyance. After Sasuke was finished, Iruka then called Naruto up, but as Iruka handed Naruto the 10 shurikens he needed to throw for the target pole, Naruto decided to ask Iruka a question. "Excuse me Iruka-sensei, but I was wondering, would it be okay if we threw something else other than shurikens at the target pole and the target dummies, if we have them?" At this question Iruka began to think it over for a moment. "Well, at the target pole you have to throw the shurikens that I gave you, but with the target dummies, I see no problem as long as they are standard shinobi weapons and you have them yourself in quad." Naruto nodded in acceptance as he found it fair, where he then turned to face the target pole, and like with Sasuke he threw all 10 of his shurikens at once, where they all hit the target's points on the target pole dead center at roughly the same time, much to the shock and surprise of everyone. After which Naruto turned to face the target dummies and took out 5 senbon's needles and 5 kunais from his pouch, where he held the senbon needles in his left hand and held the kunais in the right hand. And like with the shurikens at the target pole, Naruto threw all 5 senbon needles and all 5 kunais at once at the first and second target dummies and hit all 5 target points on each of the dummies dead center at roughly the same time. He then quickly took out another 5 shurikens and threw them all at once at the last target dummy, where like with the others they hit all 5 target points dead center at roughly the same time. Many of the students were greatly surprised by this, as they didn't expect anyone other than Sasuke to get a perfect score like that on the throwing exam. After seeing this, Iruka was just as surprised, but quickly smiled. It seems that Naruto lives up to his heritage, and by judging the look on Sasuke's face, It seems that the ancient rivalry of the Senju and Uchiha clan still lives on in the last of their descendants, though Iruka, when he turned and saw Sasuke looking at Naruto keenly with a calculating gaze. Soon after the throwing and aiming test, Iruka began the taijutsu exam, where he started to call out people in pairs and had them fight each other in taijutsu to see how well their taijutsu skills were. For the next 40 minutes the students fought each other in taijutsu, where some won and others lost. Naruto watched their fights, but most weren't really worth watching. But even still there were a small few that were. Some, like Hinata's fight against Sakura, where Sakura attacked Hinata with her knowledge of basic academy level taijutsu and was easily defeated by Hinata, who used her superior gentle fist fighting style to quickly disable and defeat Sakura. Another was Choji against a student named Kota, where he used his size and power to defeat Kota. The final one of noteworthy attention was Sasuke against another academy student named Tabayo, where Sasuke used his more advanced taijutsu skill and training to completely overwhelm Tabayo and defeated him without too much trouble. Finally came Naruto's turn, where funny enough his opponent was Kiba. When Naruto heard his name being called out with Kiba's, he took his katana off as he could not wear it on his back during a taijutsu fight even if he wasn't going to use it. He then gave it to Hinata, who was standing next to him, and asked her to hold it on for him while he fought Kiba. This of course caused the girl to blush bright red again at being trusted to hold on to Naruto katanas while he fought Kiba, where she then stuttered to Naruto that she would. "Ha, yes, I got that Senju guy, now I can show him who is the top dog here," said Kiba as he was confident that he would beat Naruto. Kiba's comment was then followed by several barks from his K9 partner Akamaru, who took the barks as encouragement from Akamaru, telling him that he could beat Naruto with no problem. "Don't worry boy, I'm going to kick this guy butt so badly that he will wish he had stayed home," said a confident Kiba, as he took Akamaru off his head and put him on the ground, as this was taijutsu only battle and Akamaru could not help him, not that he believed he needed Akamaru's help. Unfortunately for Kiba, if he had listened more carefully to Akamaru instead of listening to what he wanted to hear, he would have heard what Akamaru was really saying, which was Akamaru saying that Kiba should watch out and not underestimate Naruto, as he could sense that Naruto was very strong. Soon enough Kiba and Naruto were on the fighting platform facing one another. "I don't care even if you are of the Senju clan and the son of a Sennin, you're going down and I going send you crying back to your mammy," spoke Kiba confidently. "Big talk, but then again I expect nothing less from the run of the litter, who is all bark and no bite," retorted Naruto, which got Kiba angry at the dog insults to him. When Iruka cried out begin, Kiba charged right at Naruto, but before he could even run across halfway through the gap between him and Naruto, Naruto disappeared within a blink of an eye. Before Kiba could fully realize that Naruto was gone, he then felt a massive overwhelming pain coming from his stomach that almost made him throw up his breakfast. When he looked down he saw Naruto kneeling down and elbowing him in the stomach. "Ho how did you," said Kiba, but could not form the words due to the pain, but still Naruto knew what he was trying to say, where he quickly got back up on his feet and looked down at Kiba, who was now keeled over and holding his stomach in pain. "How did I do that, you ask?" said Naruto with a smirk. "Simple really. When Iruka-sensei said begin and you charged at me, I saw an opening that just screamed at me to attack, and I just did," stated Naruto as if it was nothing. After which he then left the platform, where Mizuki quickly went onto the platform and went to check over Kiba. At the same time as Naruto was walking off the platform, many of the students could not help but stare at him, as many of them could not believe it what they just saw, as they all knew that Kiba was no wimp in a taijutsu battle, but yet Naruto had beaten him like he was nothing. "Did you see that?" said one student. "He just disappeared and beat Kiba with a single hit," said another student. "He's good," spoke another student. "He's spectacular," said a female student. "Well come on, what do you expect, he's a Senju and is the son of Tsunade-sama of the Sennin," said another female student. Naruto ignored the students' stares and comments, even though he hated them. He knew if he reacted to them it just would encourage them to talk about him more. Although unfortunately had he been paying just a little more attention to them he would have found out that there was now a new fan club being formed out of now many former Sasuke fangirls. Hence the Senju Naruto fan club was now born, spelling trouble for Naruto in the future as well as Hinata, as many of Naruto's new fangirls did not like how friendly Hinata was with their Naruto-kun and how he would talk to her and how she would blush every time that Naruto talked to her. At the same time Iruka was watching Naruto with nothing short of amazement, as he was barely able to follow Naruto movements where he took down Kiba with just one hit. Incredible. To be so strong at such a young age, but again I'd expect nothing less from a member of the Senju clan, thought Iruka. "So it seems that you're a strong ... and quote. Though Sasuke, as he watched Naruto talk to the shy Hyuga heiress with the same calculating eyes he'd been watching him since he first saw him, "You just might be worth fighting and testing myself against Senju Naruto and quote." Soon after the taijutsu test Iruka told the class that they would have a 1-hour lunch break and then they would have the ninjutsu test. When Iruka said this, Naruto then turned to Hinata. Hey Hinata, would you like to have lunch with me? As I don't know many people here and it would be nice to have some company while having lunch. Why you AAAC actually WW want TT to have lunch W with me? Asked Hinata in nervous surprise, as she did not think that Naruto would think that she was worth having lunch with. Yay, why not? We're friends, aren't we? Asked Naruto. FF friends? Asked Hinata, as she did not have many friends other than her younger sister, as most of the other students kept away from her, thinking that she would not talk to commoners like them, as she came from one of the most noble clans in all of Konoha. Not to mention many of the students thought that Hinata was kind of weird, as she hardly ever spoke, always stuttered and never looked at people in the face, and always looked down when speaking to someone. Yay, we are. So come on, said Naruto as he took Hinata's hand, which made the girl turn bright red, where Naruto led her to a bench nearby. For the next hour or so Naruto and Hinata talked about different things. Well, technically Naruto talked and Hinata stuttered. Hinata told Naruto about the different things that there were in Konoha and what happens in it at certain times, as well as talked about bits about her clan. Naruto in turn talked about some of the things that he did when he traveled with his mother and Shizune, and even told her all about their pet Big Tauntaun, which Hinata found a little strange but did not comment much about it. As the two talked, they were also being secretly watched by the newly formed Naruto fan club. As they watched Naruto and Hinata, many of the girls were jealous of the fact that Hinata got to eat lunch alone with their Naruto-kun and Quat. Many of the girls wanted to go over there and break up the two, send Hinata off while they spent time with their Naruto-kun and Quat. But fortunately for Hinata, and them, the smarter members of the club, as smart as fangirls go, convinced the others not to do so, as it would most likely cause their Naruto-kun to think badly of them for doing so. Besides, spying on him and Hinata and listening to Naruto talk about the different things he did with his mother, allowed them to gain more insight on Naruto, which they could use to get close to him to make him theirs. When lunchtime was over, Naruto and Hinata headed back to classroom, where the rest of the class would be waiting to do the ninjutsu part of the exam. For the next 2 hours the students went one by one into a small room in next to the classroom, where Iruka and Mizuki had them do the basic academy ninjutsu, where if they were able to do all three then they would have officially passed the exam and become a Genin, and if they failed to do all three then they would fail and have to repeat the year. During the course of the 2 hours the students came in and out of the small room. Some came out with headbands on their heads, while others came out with none, with disappointed faces. Over time Naruto noticed many different people had succeeded becoming Genins, some like Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, and much to his surprise Ino and Sakura, who from what Naruto saw were probably the biggest fangirls in the whole class, as all they cared about was dieting so to have the bodies look tin, washing their hair, and making themselves look good, and gained Sasuke attention. When Naruto saw them with their headbands on their heads, he just shook his head, since it was the final proof he needed to prove how the Shinobi Academy and Konoha had fallen very low in their standards if they allowed fangirls like those to become ninjas for Konoha. Eventually Naruto's turn came up, after Sasuke came out of the room with a Konoha headband on his head, which caused his fangirls to scream and cry out that Sasuke was the greatest. After Naruto's name was called out by Iruka, Naruto got out of his seat to go over to the room. As he did, Hinata wished him luck. GG, good luck NN Naruto-san. Thanks Hinata and Quat. Soon enough Naruto entered the room, where he found Iruka and Mizuki sitting behind a small wooden table and facing him. Okay Naruto, to pass this test you need to complete all three standard academy jutsus: the Henge, transformation technique, Kawarimi no jutsu, body replacement technique, and Bunshin no jutsu, clone technique. Once you have completed that you will have passed and officially become a Konoha ninja, said Iruka, where Nada just nodded in understanding. Naruto first did a Henge where he turned into a perfect copy of Iruka, after which Naruto then did a Bunshin no jutsu, where created a perfect copy of himself. After that he dispelled the clone and then did a Kawarimi no jutsu with a broomstick that was at the corner of the room behind Iruka and Mizuki. Very good Naruto, that was perfect, spoke Iruka with a smile, where he handed Naruto a Konoha headband, who took it gladly and tied it to his head and walked out the room with a smile. When the class saw Naruto coming out with his headband on his head, the newly formed Naruto fan club started to cry and scream out that they knew he could do it and that he was the best. Naruto just politely nodded as thanks to them and went to sit next to Hinata, who slyly smiled at Naruto passing while Naruto grinned back to her. Once everyone was done, Iruka and Mizuki came out of the small room and gave out the score, where in the exam both Naruto and Sasuke tied with the top score of the exam. But since Sasuke did all 4 years in academy, he would be given the title of the Rookie of the Year, since the title was given to the student with the highest score, which was added by his or her total grade throughout the 4 years of the academy and the exam. Sakura would be given the title of Top Kunoichi, as she had gotten the highest score on the paper exam and a perfect in the ninjutsu, despite getting an average in the throwing and aiming part of the exam and the taijutsu. Upon hearing this, Naruto had to hold back a groan, as this once again proven without a shadow of a doubt that Konoha Academy standards had fallen to an all-time low if fangirls like Sakura were the top kunoichis. Finally, Iruka then announced that Naruto was the dead last of the class due to the only grade they had for him was the grade of the graduation exam. Upon hearing this, Naruto shrugged his shoulders, as he didn't really care about academy title like dead last or rookie of the year, as they meant nothing to him and they meant nothing in the real world. He was actually glad he got the title, as it showed that Iruka was being fair and not treating him special because he was a Senju and Tsunade's son. If Iruka had tried to give him the title of Rookie of the Year, he would have refused it, as he knew he would have only given it to him because of his heritage and not because he had earned it. When Kiba heard that Naruto was the dead last, he started to cheer and yell happily. "Ha!" cried Kiba. He pointed up at Naruto. "See? This proves that you're not so hot after all, you're the class dope." "Kiba, that's enough," said Iruka angrily, as he did not like Kiba was saying, especially since he hated seeing children making fun of others and making a show out of them. "The only reason Naruto is the dead last is because we added up your total scores over the 4 years in the academy, where we add them up together to make up the grade, and since Naruto only joined us today, we only have this score to base him on. If he had been with us the full 4 years in the academy, I have no doubt that Naruto would have tied with Sasuke for Rookie of the Year, as his score in the exam was as high as Sasuke's." At this remark, Kiba just scowled, as Iruka had ruined his chance to make a show out of Naruto and pay him back for beating him in their taijutsu spar and humiliating him in front of everyone in the class. "That's okay, Iruka-san. I don't really care about his remarks, as they mean nothing to me, as titles like that dead last and Rookie of the Year mean nothing to me, and they mean nothing in the real shinobi world. Besides, my mother's teammate and my godfather Jiraiya was the dead last in his class, and yet later on he, along with my mother and their teammate Orochimaru, became the Sennin, some of the greatest shinobis in Konoha, and he is also the strongest one among the three of them," replied Naruto. Sasuke muttered a grunt in agreement with Naruto, as what he said was true, and besides he could care less about being named Rookie of the Year, as it was a meaningless title to him as well. "Ha!" "You're only saying that so to make yourself look like a less of a dope than you are," retorted Kiba, as he wasn't going to let Naruto get away without getting back a little at Naruto, even if they were only cheap remarks. "Kiba," cried Iruka, as he was about to hold the boy back for dentition if he continued like this, even if today was his last day here as a student. He was then about to tell Kiba to sit down and be quiet, but stopped when he saw Naruto hold out his hand, telling to let him handle it. "Kiba. Really, Kiba? Because if I'm the dope, then what does that make you then? Since I did beat you in our taijutsu spar with just one hit, so wouldn't that make you worse than the class dope?" said Naruto with a smirk on his face, where the whole class then erupted in laughter at Kiba's humiliating, as he had walked right into that one. Kiba himself turned beet red and angry and wanted nothing more than to attack Naruto then and there for making him into an even bigger fool in front of the class. But fortunately for him, Akamaru started barking at him, telling him not to or he'd get into more trouble than he already was in. Hence Kiba sat down and fumed at his seat for the remainder of the day. Once class fully ended, Iruka and Mizuki bid farewell to the class, where the students all went out to their parents, who were waiting from them, to greet them and congratulate or comfort their children, whether they passed or failed. Naruto accompanied Hinata out of the academy, telling her that he would keep her company until her parents came to pick her up. Hinata blushed red from embarrassment and mumbled out that he did not have to, as she would be okay by herself, but Naruto insisted, as they were friends now, which caused the shy young girl to blush again. As they waited, Naruto saw mothers, fathers or both greet their children as they came out. As Naruto watched, then he could not help but think about his mother and his surrogate big sister / aunt / godmother Shizune. As this was the first real time that he had been away for so long from either of them, and although he would not say it out loud, he did miss them and wished they were here with him. As he watched the parents and their children being together, he noticed several of the students pointing at him to their parents, no doubt telling them who he was to them. Where many parents turned to stare at Naruto with looks of shock, amazement and wonder. Seeing this, Naruto quickly looked away, pretending not to notice them, as he did not want to deal with stuff like this right now. Fortunately for Naruto, a distraction arrived to distract him away from the gawking students and their parents. This distraction came in the form of a tall and very attractive-looking raven-haired woman, with bright crimson red eyes, who wore a single red sleeve and white patterned bandages with a ninja fishnet shit underneath it. When Naruto saw this woman, he had a small blush on his face, as the woman was extremely beautiful, where she could easily challenge his mother's beauty when she was young. He also had no doubt that if his godfather Jiraiya was here right now, he would already be writing down her description on his notepad and place her as one of the main characters in his next book. "Hello, Hinata. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, as I was delayed with some things," spoke the woman in a polite and kind voice, where she then turned to Naruto and smiled, showing her crimson-colored lip, which made Naruto blush again. "And who is your friend here?" Hinata then stuttered out nervously who Naruto was, where the woman's eyes quickly widened in shock, when Hinata told her who Naruto was. After which Hinata then introduced the women as Yuhi Kurenai and told him that she was her private tutor that her father had assigned to her and was her escort to and from the academy. Naruto politely bowed to Kurenai, telling her that it was a pleasure to meet her. Kurenai of course replied in so and called him Senju-sama, where Naruto then told her that Naruto would be fine, where Kurenai nodded in understanding and called him so. After seeing the large group of parents now staring at him, Naruto decided to take his leave before he drew any more attention to himself by being her. After which he bade goodbye to Hinata and Kurenai and told Hinata he would see her tomorrow for the team placements, which caused a girl to blush a smile a little. After which he then shunshined, body flickered, away in a whirlwind of leaves, surprising Kurenai and Hinata as well as the rest of the people watching from afar, since many of them did not expect a Jinan fresh out of the academy to know that technique. Later in the evening, in front of the Hokage's residence at near around sunset, the people and shinobis of Konoha were gathered around in the open area in front of the Hokage's residence. They were here because they had all been informed that the Hokage was going to make an important announcement. Soon enough, once everyone had arrived, the Hokage came out of his office accompanied by his advisors Danzo, Homura and Koharu and stood up on the balcony and began to speak to the people and shinobis below. "People of Konoha, thank you all for coming here this evening on such short notice," cried the Sandaime in a loud voice so that people below could hear him. "Now, as you have all been told, I have an important announcement to make to you all. Although I know that some of you are already aware or have guessed what this announcement is about, but most of you are still unaware, hence I shall tell you now. Yesterday morning a young boy arrived in Konoha, to become a shinobi for our village. Now many of you may ask why something like that should matter and cause me to have this gathering. The reason being is because of who this boy is," said the Sandaime, which caused much muttering and commotions among the crowd, but it was quickly silenced when the Sandaime began to speak again. "This boy to whom I speak of is Senju Naruto, son of my former pupil Senju Tsunade of the Sennin, great-grandson to the Shodaime Hokage, Senju Hashirama, the main founder of our village, as well as great-grandnephew of my sensei the Nidaime Hokage, Senju Tobirama, and heir to the Senju clan," announced Sarutobi, completely shocking and stunning nearly everyone in the village, as no one could have ever guessed that another member of the Senju clan existence and was in fact the son of Tsunade the Slug Princess. Before the people could fully get over their shock and would start shouting why they were only being told now and where has Naruto been the past 12 years, the Sandaime quickly spoke out again. "Now many of you are no doubt wondering why I'm only telling you all now and where Naruto has been the past 12 years. The reason is that upon Naruto's birth, Tsunade feared for her son's life, as she feared that her enemies would learn of her son's existence and that they would attack him as revenge for her act against them. Hence she kept her pregnancy and her giving birth to a son secret and then went into hiding so that he would be safe, until the time was right for him to come to Konoha to become a shinobi for Konoha," spoke old Hokage. Even though the story was not exactly true, it was still believable and everyone accepted it without question as it made sense. Where after hearing the explanation, excited chattering erupted in the crowd as it was just revealed to them that Tsunade had a heir and there was now a heir of the Senju clan where clan could continue on. Soon enough Sarutobi called for silence again, where he then asked for the people and the shinobis to treat Naruto as a normal person as he did not wish for any special treatment, and he also asked them to respect Naruto's right to privacy. Although Sarutobi knew that only some would do what he asked, mainly the shinobis and some civilians, many people, mainly civilians and some shinobis, would still go out of their way to treat Naruto like some kind of prince, despite what he said, but it was still worth a short. Once Sarutobi had finished his announcement, he called the gathering to an end and wished the people a good night, where the crowd then began to disperse, where many people began to head home, all the while talking amongst themselves what they had just learned. Later on that evening, in the forest just outside the Konoha walls, just outside the main walls of Konoha, in the forest, Naruto was traveling back into Konoha. Sarutobi had allowed Naruto to go outside the village to train as he announced Naruto's identity to the people, so that he would not be hounded by the people of Konoha after they learned who he really was. As he neared the main gate of Konoha, Naruto sensed that someone was heading right for him. Not knowing who it was, Naruto decided to hide and see who it was. After a minute or so, Naruto saw that the person he sensed was Kiba, with Akamaru following closely behind him. Fortunately for Naruto, Kiba had not smelled him with his enhanced smell, as he was too preoccupied with heading to his destination. As Kiba went past him, Naruto noticed that he was carrying a scroll on his back. Naruto quickly recognized the scroll as the Forbidden Scroll of Konoha, as his mother had told him all about it when she told him about the history of their clan. Inside the scroll was a list of extremely powerful jutsus. The scroll had been found by his great-grandfather, the Shodaime Hokage, Senju Hashirama, before he founded Konoha. The scroll also contained other forbidden ninjutsus that were created by the other Hokages over the years. Naruto knew that if that scroll were ever to fall into the wrong hands or to Konoha's enemies, then Konoha would surely be destroyed. Also, Naruto started to wonder why Kiba had stolen the scroll from the Hokage's residence, Since as arrogant and as big of a jerk as Kiba was, he was still no traitor. Hence Naruto realized that there was more to this than it appeared. But before Naruto could even chase after Kiba, he sensed another person coming towards him. Deciding to see who it was, Naruto stayed hidden in the bushes he was in. Soon enough Naruto saw the Chunin Iruka go by, who was clearly chasing after Kiba. Deciding to see the events unfold and in case Iruka needed help, Naruto followed him. As Kiba traveled toward his rendezvous point, he could not help but be pleased with himself at completing a task that neither Sasuke nor Naruto were able to do. He remembered Mizuki coming up to him later on after the academy when he saw Kiba alone, where he then told him of a special test that only certain students could take, where if they completed they would be given a powerful A-rank jutsu as a prize. He told Kiba that both Sasuke and Naruto had tried and failed the test, as they were both allowed to try it since they were from powerful clans. Mizuki then told him, after seeing how Naruto humiliated Kiba in front of the class, he had called in a favor from a friend to allow him a chance to do the test and prove that he was better than both Sasuke and Naruto. When Kiba heard this, he jumped at the chance of showing up not only Naruto but also Sasuke. Soon enough Kiba arrived at the clearing where he waited to meet Mizuki as planned. But after a minute or two, someone arrived, but it wasn't Mizuki, it was Iruka, and he didn't look pleased with him. "Hey Iruka-sensei, I didn't think I'd meet you here," said Kiba, still thinking that this was all part of the test. "Kiba, what the hell do you think you're doing? Do you know what you have just done?" asked Iruka angrily. "Of course," replied a smiling Kiba. "I passed the test, that neither Sasuke nor Naruto could pass, and it was a piece of cake." Shocked and confused by Kiba's response, Iruka barely noticed and dodged a giant shuriken that was thrown at him from behind and caught. When Iruka turned around, he was shocked to see that it was his best friend Mizuki who had thrown the shuriken at him. "Kiba, go on ahead and get out of here. Iruka is part of the test and he's trying to keep you from passing the test. Once I've dealt with him, I catch up with you and you can give me the scroll where you will have passed," said Mizuki. Believing Mizuki's story, Kiba nodded and told Akamaru to follow, who was starting to have doubts that what his master/partner was doing and was suspecting that something was wrong. But regardless of his doubts, he still followed after Kiba into the forest, when he ran off with the forbidden scroll still on his back. From his hiding spot behind some trees, Naruto watched the whole event unfold in front of him. He quickly realized after listening to Mizuki's little story to Kiba, that it was Mizuki who was the traitor and had used Kiba's grudge against him to trick Kiba into stealing the forbidden scroll for him. After Kiba had left, Naruto watched Iruka ask Mizuki why he had betrayed the village, as he was Iruka's friend and he trusted him. When Mizuki heard Iruka ask, he had just laughed and told him that he was never really Iruka's friend and he had just been using him to further his own career as a ninja. Where once he realized that he would get no further in rank or gain more power, he decided to steal the forbidden scroll and go somewhere else and gain more power than he ever would in Konoha. He also explained that after he saw Kiba's grudge against Naruto, he decided to use it and get Kiba to steal the scroll for him, where everyone would chase after him and he'd be labeled the traitor, where he would then meet up with Kiba, kill him and run off with the forbidden scroll, where by the time everyone realized the truth it would be too late and he would be long gone. After hearing this, Naruto growled softly at Mizuki and glared at them, man, as if their one thing he hated it was traitors as well as those who use people for their own selfish gains, and since Mizuki was both, he was on Naruto's list of people he would have no regret beating to a bloody pulp. For the next few minutes Naruto watched Iruka and Mizuki fight an even battle between one another, but during the course of the fight, Mizuki used a Kawarimi no Jutsu to replace himself with a log when Iruka hit him with a kunai, after which he then ran off into the forest to get the forbidden scroll off Kiba. Seeing this, Iruka ran off after him, with Naruto following closely, but secretly behind him. As Naruto followed Iruka, he saw him henge into Kiba. He then saw him meet up with himself, Iruka, but when Iruka asked the disguised Iruka to give him the forbidden scroll, Kiba then attacked Iruka and revealed that Iruka was Mizuki. After which the real Iruka released his own henge to show who he really was. The two of them fought one another for a short while, until Mizuki got away again, where Iruka decided to chase after Kiba and get him and the forbidden scroll back to Konoha safely. Naruto went for follow Iruka, where after a few minutes he saw that Iruka had finally found Kiba with the scroll and Akamaru. Seemingly he was in a small clearing not far from where Iruka and Mizuki were fighting for the second time. When Iruka arrived, seemingly Kiba was arguing with Akamaru about what was going on, as seemingly Akamaru had concerns about this so-called test. When Iruka arrived, he started to talk to Kiba and try convince him that Mizuki had tricked him and that there was no test. After a few minutes it looked like that Iruka might have gotten through to Kiba, but just as it looked like that Kiba might agree to come back to Konoha with Iruka, another giant shuriken was thrown at Iruka, but this time Iruka was not able to dodge, as if he had moved Kiba would have been killed instead. Hence the shuriken hit Iruka in the back, wounding him badly. When Kiba looked up, he saw Mizuki on a high tree top grinning sadistically at finally getting Iruka. After which he then jumped off and went over to Kiba with his hands stretched out. "Kiba, give me the scroll," said Mizuki, with a friendly face on him now to try and convince Kiba to give him the forbidden scroll. "Come on Kiba, you didn't actually believe Iruka and what he said. He was just saying that because he wanted you to fail the test, since he didn't want you to prove that he was better than Sasuke or his new favorite student Naruto, as you saw how he favored him when he helped humiliate you in front of the whole class." At this Kiba began to have doubts about what Iruka had told him moment ago as to him what Mizuki was saying did make some sense. From his mystical crystal ball, Sarutobi had watched the whole event from the moment that Kiba had exited outside the village wall to the moment that Naruto comforted and defeated Mizuki and to when the Anbu arrived. After the event, Sarutobi turned off his mystical crystal ball and was quite proud of his surrogate grandson, for stopping Mizuki and for how strong he had become, although he knew that he had yet to see Naruto's true potential. Barely even in the village 48 hours and you have already created quite a stir in the village, Naruto, something that has not been seen in it for decades. I look forward to what else you will do to liven the village up, while you here, though Sarutobi with a slight chuckle as he waited for Iruka and the Anbu to arrive in his office. Chapter 11. Teammates. Early next morning in the Hyuga clan compound after the near-historic announcement by the Hokage at the news of Naruto's existence, the Hyuga council, along with Hyuga Heihachi, had been discussing the news for much of the night, and the early parts of the morning and how it affected the standing of their clan in Konoha. Who would have ever thought that Tsunade-sama would actually have a child? One could quite well restore the Senju clan in Konoha, spoke a Hyuga elder. None of us did, replied another elder. This could greatly affect our standing in Konoha, where if this boy actually succeeds in rebuilding his clan, then our clan's power and influence in the village will be greatly reduced, said yet another elder. Tell us Heihachi, do you know anything of what the boy is capable of? Asked Heihachi's father, who was head of the Hyuga clan council. Unfortunately no, as the Hokage said that he has no knowledge of the boy capabilities, as he kept it secret and it will not be revealed until Jiraiya-sama arrives, to speak to him about it, answered Heihachi. The elders frowned at this, as knowing what Naruto was able to do could have helped them plan out what they were to do and what to expect from the boy. Do we know who the boy's father is? Is he a foreign shinobi, a noble from Hai no Kuni, Fire Country, or some kind of commoner? Asked one elder. No, I do not know, as the Hokage claimed that he had no knowledge of who the boy's father was, as Tsunade-sama refused to tell, replied Heihachi. And do you believe him? Asked the same elder. I do not know, as it is possible that the Hokage does know who the boy's father was but refuses to tell for whatever reason, and it is also possible he does not know, as he said. But I believe it matters little as to who the boy father was, as the Hokage spoke he was dead and I believe him in that, said Heihachi. At this all the elders nodded, where then another elder then spoke up. Have you met or seen the boy yet? Asked the elder. No, as the boy was attending the academy when the Hokage announced the boy to us, and he was not with him when he announced the boy's existence to the rest of the village. My guess is that the Hokage is trying to keep the boy out of the view of large crowds and other influential groups such as ourselves for as long as possible, so that he won't be overwhelmed and used in the politics of the village, spoke Heihachi. Then we must find a way to gain the boy on our side, as the boy is a Senju, the main founders of this village, and when he older he will have enormous influence in the village and will most likely have the people's support. His existence alone will shift a great deal of influence that our clan has had in the village to him. But if we can get the boy to ally with our clan, then the Hyuga clan's influence will grow greatly, said one of the elders. Heihachi, isn't your daughter Hinata in the same graduating class as the young Senju heir is in? Asked an elder. Yes, she is, and according to her and to the Jonin tutor Yuhi Kurenai that I assigned to my daughter, Hinata has become quite friendly with the young Senju heir and has already become friends with him, spoke Heihachi. Well, it seems that for once, the girl has actually done something right and has finally proven herself useful to the clan. If she can somehow get close to the boy, we can then arrange a marriage between the two once the boy's mother arrives in the village. We can use the marriage to form an alliance between us and the Senju clan, where then our clan influence and power in the village will raise to unprecedented levels, spoke Heihachi's father. As Heihachi's father said this, Heihachi's face remained unreadable and just nodded, but on the inside he was frowning, since despite common belief Heihachi cared deeply for his family, especially after the loss of his brother and then his beloved wife Hitomi. After which Heihachi adopted the cold hard exterior that people knew him for, so that people would believe that he did not care about his daughters, or more specifically Hinata, so that people would not try hurt her, to get back him. In reality he cared deeply for his daughter, as she reminded him so much of his wife Hitomi. The other reason why he was so hard on her was because he wanted Hinata to become strong enough to defend herself. This was why he was so hard on her and had her become a ninja and not stay in the clan to become the heiress of the clan. Hence the idea of using Hinata as a political pawn and having her married off to make the Hyuga clan stronger and more powerful in Konoha wasn't exactly what Heihachi wanted for her. But there was little he could do, as despite common belief, Hiashi did not have full control of his clan. Although as clan head he had control over most parts of the clan along with other things, he still did not have full control. Since when it came to things that would greatly affect the Hyuga clan itself in general, such as their bloodline or status in Konoha, then the Hyuga elders could take control and overrule him on whatever decision he could make. Which was exactly what they did, when the Kumo's ambassador tried to kidnap Hinata and he killed him, where he then planned to offer himself up to prevent war from happening between Konoha and Kumo. But the elders had overruled him on his decision, believing that Hiashi was too valuable to die, where they then had his brother sent instead, and although Hiashi's brother Hisashi did it of his own free will, Hiashi still held a grudge against them for being the ones who suggested the idea and putting it in his brother's head. He also never forgave his father for it either, as it was he who came up with the idea to begin with, where he saved one of his son's life by sacrificing the other. So it is agreed, spoke Hiashi's father suddenly and halting Hiashi's train of thought a moment ago. Once we have gathered enough knowledge of the young Senju heir abilities and skills, and once Hinata has gotten close enough to him, we will arrange with the boy's mother an arranged marriage between the two, thereby sealing an alliance between the Hyuga clan and the Senju clan. Upon the marriage between the two of them, we will place the caged bird seal along with our bloodline blocking seal on Hinata, so to keep our clan bloodline in the Hyuga clan, where any children that they may have will not have our bloodline, but even still the future generations of the Senju clan will still be from our own clan. Thereby we can use Hinata and that link to gain control and manipulate the clan, where the Hyuga clan will finally and truly become the strongest clan in Konoha and Quat. At this Hiashi frowned, as he did not like hearing the idea of the caged bird seal being placed on his eldest daughter, not to mention he did not like the Hyuga elders' plan, as something like this could be easily seen as treason, where many people could see this as the Hyuga clan trying to take over and interfering with another clan, which was forbidden by all clans to do. Not to mention there were still too many things that could go wrong, as past experiences on the battlefield had taught Hiashi that things rarely go according to plan. But we must hurry, as the other clans, not to mention other families in Konoha, will try and gain some kind of favor with the boy, and others will try and get their own daughters to get close to the boy so that they can arrange a marriage between their daughters and him. Yamanaka Inoiki's daughter would be the most dangerous of them all, as like with Hinata, she is in the same graduating class as the boy is. Not to mention that the Nara and Akimichi heirs could help her, as those three clans have been close with one another ever since their fathers were their ages, spoke another elder. Agreed then, spoke Hiashi's father, where he then turned to Hiashi himself. Hiashi, I want you to tell your daughter that she is to use whatever means necessary to get as close to the boy as possible, no matter what it takes. She could very well hold the fate of the Hyuga clan in Konoha in her hands. I understand, father, and I will tell her, replied Hiashi, after which he then left the room, where he would simply approve of his daughter's friendship with Naruto and encourage her to continue on with it, which was not exactly what the elders wanted him to do, but still close enough as it followed along their plan in some parts. Besides, who knows, with some luck perhaps Hinata can find love with Naruto in the arranged marriage between them, like he did with the arranged marriage with her mother Hitomi, that is, if elders' plan works up to that point. But regardless of this, Hiashi knew he had no choice but to follow the elders' plan, at least until he found some way that would allow him to be rid of them without causing bloodshed, in-house fighting or turmoil in the clan. At the academy at about 9:30 in the morning, the graduating members of the class arrived in their classroom for the last time, as today they were going to meet their Jonin senseis and be formed into teams. The students all took their usual seats in the room. As Naruto entered the room, he saw Kiba and Akamaru. Although Akamaru yelped happily upon seeing Naruto, Kiba quickly turned away in a different direction that would allow him not to look at Naruto, as doing so reminded him too much of own personal humiliation. Although Kiba knew he should be grateful to Naruto for not only stopping him for being an accomplice to treason, but for also saving his life, as he had learned from the Iruka and the Hokage that if he had given Mizuki the scroll, he would have killed him. But even with this, Kiba still could not help but hold a grudge against Naruto, as every time he looked at Naruto, he would be reminded of how he had been duped, not to mention that he was still angry at how for the second time Naruto beat him easily, with just one hit. Kiba also believed that Naruto was nothing more than a silver spoon shinobi, where he was born into a powerful noble clan, with a cage-level mother and godfather to give him special training, and was born naturally with talent, thanks to his heritage. While kids like Kiba, who were born from shinobi clans that weren't as revered or as powerful as Naruto's, had to work hard to gain any kind of real strength or to be noticed. People just naturally paid attention to Naruto just because of his heritage, while they ignore Kiba and those like him. Even Sasuke fitted in a similar category as Naruto, but he at least knew suffering and hardship with the loss of his clan. Naruto did not. As Kiba thought about last night, he could not help but feel lucky that was still a ninja, as the Hokage had decided to let him still be a Jonin, since he had been tricked and used by Mizuki. Unfortunately, his mother wasn't as forgiving as the Hokage, as Kiba could not help but cringe slightly at the memory, when he remembered his mother arriving in the Hokage's office and after the Hokage told her everything that happened that night. The angry shouts and screams that came from his mother as she yelled at him could be heard all over Konoha that night and nearly made everyone in the office go deaf. His mother had been furious with him when she learned what happened, where she shouted at how much he had shamed her and their clan and about how he could have been duped so easily all over a simple grudge he held against Naruto. Once Tsume had stopped yelling, the Hokage told her that Kiba would be not been punished as he had been tricked and the event would be kept hidden if Naruto agreed to, so that Kiba and the Inuzuka clan would not be disgraced to the rest of the village. His mother seemed to lessen her anger at him after hearing this, but even still she had not let Kiba off the hook for attacking Naruto and for being such an idiot, where she told Kiba for the next 8 months he would be on kennel duty in the Inuzuka clan kennels, the worst job for any member in the Inuzuka clan, as he would have to clean up each one of the Inuzuka dog kennels each week, which also included picking up the dog's poop around the kennels. When Naruto saw Kiba looking away from him, he could only sigh as he could tell that Kiba still held some kind of foolish grudge against him for whatever reason. As he looked at Kiba, he also could not help but remember the talk he had with the Hokage earlier this morning, where he agreed to keep Kiba's part of the incident secret. Since although he thought Kiba was a jerk and a bit of an idiot, he didn't believe he or his clan deserved to be disgraced to the whole village because of one stupid mistake. Sarutobi of course had been happy to hear Naruto's choice as he was on the same mind as Naruto and believed that Kiba could still make a fine ninja one day. Deciding to ignore Kiba, Naruto headed up to his seat next to Hinata, where he greeted her in his usual fashion. "Hey Hinata-chan, how are you today?" asked Naruto as he added the chan part as he fully considered Hinata his friend now. Blushing at the informal suffix, Hinata stuttered out a greeting to her friend. Hinata had become a little less nervous around Naruto since yesterday as she had gotten to know Naruto better. It also helped that her father actually seemed pleased that she had befriended Naruto and later on even approved of her friendship with him and even encouraged her to become better friends with him. For the next few minutes Naruto and Hinata talked, all the while not noticing the jealous glares that Hinata was getting from about half the girls from the class. After a little while Ino and Sakura came into the classroom at exactly the same time and where the two of them along with a few other girls in Sasuke fan club started to yell at a boy called Tai who was sitting in a seat next to Sasuke. After a minute or so of this Naruto had enough and decided to go down to the girls and play peacemaker so to cease their insistent yelling. "Okay, that's enough you lot," said Naruto as he stood in front of the groups of girls, which caused many of the boys in the class to wonder if Naruto was either very brave or very foolish or even a bit of both, as those few that had tired to stand up to Sasuke fan club usually ended up visiting the academy nurse. "Now look, Tai here was sitting here first, hence you can't force him to move just because he's sitting next to the Uchiha over there, and if you want a seat near him then sit around him in the empty seats around him as there are plenty of them," said Naruto. Are he tired to reason with girls? Unfortunately for Naruto, fangirls could not be reasoned with, especially when it was about sitting next to their beloved Sasuke-kun. "Move it Senju, you're in the way of true love between my Sasuke-kun and me," said Sakura as she and two another girls pushed him aside next to Ino, after which Sakura and the two girls tried to pull Tai of his seat, while Sasuke just watched them with an annoyed expression on his face and thinking, "Stupid fangirls and quat." When Sakura and the two girls grabbed onto the right sleeve of Tai's shirt and tried to pull Tai off his seat, Tai resisted the girls by pulling back so to stop them from pulling him off his seat, as they kept pulling on one another. Eventually the sleeves of Tai's shirt ripped, which resulted everyone to fall back and crash into other people. Most of the girls fell back into the desks behind them or other girls who were behind them. Naruto unfortunately was also caught in his tumble of bodies, where he crashed into Ino, who was next to him, when someone pushed him. This caused both he and Ino to fail and tumble down the steps that led to the different desk levels. Eventually the two hit the bottom floor of the classroom where Naruto landed on the floor first on his back, with Ino landing on top of him. Once Ino regained her senses she found herself staring right into Naruto's bright blue eyes and was transfixed by them in a way. For a minute or so, Ino and Naruto just stared into each other's eyes, until Naruto suddenly spoke up. "Hey, Ino-san, if you don't mind, could you get off me please?" Where when Ino looked at the position she was in with Naruto she could not help but blush, as their noses were just a hair strand away from touching on another. Ino's hands were on Naruto's chest, while Naruto's own hands were holding onto Ino's waist and Ino's left leg was dangerous close between Naruto's legs in a very intimate manner. Upon fully realizing the situation she was in, Ino quickly jumped up off Naruto with a large eep, as she was too embarrassed at what just happened that she could not scream or shout. Fortunately for Ino and Naruto no one had been paying any attention to what was happening to them as they were too focused on something else, where when Sakura and the other girls fell backwards, Tai also fell backwards, whereas he turned around and tried to brace himself as he fell. He collided with Sasuke and they fell to the ground together and accidentally locked lips with one another for a few seconds. Much to the shock of everyone in the classroom, especially to Sasuke's fangirls, as they could not believe what they saw and were furious at the same time as Tai had stolen Sasuke's first kiss. Quickly the two boys jumped apart from one another and began to spit out the taste of the other's lips. Unfortunately for Tai, Sasuke's fangirls did not take well to the fact that he stole their Sasuke-kun's fist kiss from them. After which Sasuke fangirls, minus Ino, pounced on Tai and proceeded to beat Tai into a bloody pulp for the next few minutes, where it only ended with the arrival of Iruka. Once the class had been seated, with Tai sitting back on his seat despite what he went through and Sakura sitting right behind Sasuke and Naruto sitting back next to Hinata, Iruka started to call out the teams, their numbers and what senseis they had. Next Team 7, which will have Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke and Senju Naruto, and your sensei will be Hatake Kakashi, spoke Iruka, but before he could call out the members of Team 8, Sakura started to cheer and shout. "Ha! True love wins, take that Ino pig," cried Sakura with joy as she got to be with her Sasuke-kun and Quat. Strangely enough, Ino remained quiet during Sakura victory cheering, which surprised many as they expected her yell about it being unfair and would start to whine and complain. As Sakura continued to cheer, her other teammates did not share her joy. Kami must hate me right now for some reason to put me on the same team of the class Emo and his fangirl. Sure, I could put being with just the Uchiha, but why did she have to be on it, thought Naruto. Although he had no real reason to like or dislike Sasuke, he could tell that by the personality of Sasuke, of how he would always brood and look down at others, think that they were worthless, that he wasn't going to get on too well with him. But at least I have that Kakashi guy as my sensei, as according to Uro-sen he's the strongest Jonin in Konoha and was Tosan's student. Maybe I can learn some more things about Tosan from him, thought Naruto as he thought on the positive side. So I'm on the same team as a worthless fangirl and the Senju. The Senju at least won't be a total waste of space like her, thought Sasuke as he made a quick glacé at Sakura. Before he glanced at Naruto, and I will at least have someone who might challenge me and to test myself against. Let's just hope that this Hatake can teach me something useful to use against him and Quat. Once Iruka had told Sakura to calm down and sit back down, he went on to state the other teams. Team 8 was made up of Hinata, Shino and Kiba with Yuhi Kurenai as their Jonin sensei. When Hinata heard this, she was of course pleased to know that Kurenai was her sensei, although was a bit disappointed that Naruto wasn't on her team, where she would have at least be friends with someone on her team. As she did not know Kiba all that well and she was kind of nervous around Shino as she was kind of intimidated by him, but still she hoped that they would get along after some time. After calling out the members of Team 9, Iruka called out the members Team 10, which was made up of Choji, Ino and Shikamaru with Sarutobi Asuma as their Jonin sensei. Naturally many people expected Ino to shout out, cry and complain about not being on the same team as Shikimaru and Choji, but much to their surprise Ino remained quiet after the announcement. After a few more minutes the remaining other teams were announced by Iruka, after which Iruka called the Jonin senseis that were waiting outside the classroom, where once they entered Iruka left the room. Hinata soon said goodbye to Naruto as she went to join Kurenai and her new team. They were soon followed by Ino, Choji and Shikamaru and their new sensei Asuma, who was the younger son of the Sandaime Hokage. After a little while all the new Genans except for Team 7 had left with their new senseis. Naruto then went down to the ground floor and began to start working on setting up a prank for Kakashi. As Jiraiya had told him all about his father's former student, who was regularly late for appointments as a way for honoring another student of his father's who died on a mission. "Senju, what the hell are you doing?" cried Sakura. "What does it look like?" "I'm setting up a trap," answered Naruto, while not even turning to look at Sakura. "Why?" asked Sakura. "Because the sensei that we have has a reputation of always being late for appointments, hence I'm making this trap to teach him a lesson about being late," replied Naruto. "Ooh, you're going to be in so much trouble with sensei if you do that," said Sakura, while inside inner Sakura was saying, "Cha, I love it, teach that baka sensei a lesson." "What do you think, Sasuke-kun?" asked Sakura with a dreamy look. "Humph, I like care," replied Sasuke. "Sasuke-kun is so cool though," Sakura dreamily. After a little while Naruto was finished making his trap for Kakashi, where he then sat down, opened up a book and stated to read it. 2 hours later, after spending 2 hours paying his respects to the memorial stone, Kakashi decided to go and see his new students, 2 of which would be interesting to meet, as one was Uchiha Sasuke, the last loyal Uchiha in Konoha, while the other was Senju Naruto, son of Tsunade of the Sannin. Naturally, like everyone, Kakashi was stunned that Tsunade had a child. He was further surprised that he would be his sensei, although considering how the academy set up the teams he should not have been. When the teams had been sorted out, several senseis had stated that the teams were unbalanced, as Kakashi had the top kunoichi, along with the Uchiha and Senju heirs, both of whom were already considered by many as prodigies. Since although Naruto was classed the dead last, many still considered him a prodigy, as he was only made the dead last because he did not fully attend the academy and his score was only based on the exam, which he passed with flying colors. Not top mention the news of Naruto single-handedly defeating Mizuki had already spread to the other shinobi ranks, further proving the claim that Naruto was a prodigy. But even despite the complaints, the Hokage stated that if he changed them now they would have to rearrange all the teams again. But stated that once he knew what Naruto's capabilities were and if he made the team unbalanced he would change the team in some form, which settled the shinobis that complained. As Kakashi made his way to the classroom, Kakashi noticed a chalk eraser stuck on the door, which would fall on his head once he opened it. Ah, the old chalk eraser on the door gag. That takes me back though, Kakashi with fond memories as he remember Obito played the same trick before one time. But still you think that these kids could think of something more originally that this, oh well, might as well play along and quat. Kakashi then slid the door open and let the eraser fall on his head, which made Sasuke wonder if Kakashi was really a jonin if he fell for that lame gag. Although there was much more to the prank that Kakashi, Sasuke or Sakura thought, as the chalk eraser was just something to distract Kakashi from the real pranks, which was a tripwire at the door that Kakashi activated, when his foot crossed the wire and he entered the classroom. When Kakashi hit the tripwire a massive stink bomb dropped from above the door and exploded at the door. Fortunately Kakashi being a trained shinobi was able to get away from the stink bomb before it exploded. But when Kakashi moved away from the stink bomb he tripped over another tripwire, which launched a flurry of kunai at him. Kakashi although quickly used a Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, and replaced himself with a nearby chair, which the kunais hit. But unfortunately when Kakashi replaced himself he activated yet another trap, where he reappeared and stood on a loose floorboard that was actually a trap and exploded, covering him entirely in orange paint, much to Naruto's amusement as he laughed at the now orange Kakashi. Gomen sensei, but it was all Naruto's doing, neither Sasuke-kun nor I were involved at that stupid prank, said Sakura, while inside her mind inner Sakura was cheering madly at how she loved it and it was great. Well now that I have met you all, I have only one to say, I hate you all, especially you, said Kakashi as he looked and glared slightly at Naruto, who just grinned back and saluted Kakashi. Okay you three, I want you all to meet me at the roof in 10 minutes, said Kakashi, as he used the Sunshine no Jutsu, body flicker technique, to disappear in a swirl of leaves leaving Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura alone in the classroom. See you guys up there, replied Naruto as he then disappeared in the same way as Kakashi, much to Sasuke and Sakura's surprise. After seeing this Sasuke frowned, but quickly decided to head up to the rooftop, where he left the room, with Sakura following behind him and saying to wait up for her. When Sasuke and Sakura arrived they found Naruto sitting on a stone bench that was on the roof reading his book as he waited to them. In front of him was also a now clean Kakashi who was reading his own book in each book. Once Sasuke and Sakura had sat down next to Naruto, Kakashi snapped his book close and looked at them. Okay you three, I think we should try and get to know each other better, so how about you each tell me your name, what you like, what you dislike, your dreams for the future and your hobbies. How about you go first sensei so we know what we have to say, said Sakura, which caused Naruto to roll his eyes slightly as it was obvious what they had to do. Okay then, I'm Hatake Kakashi, things I like and things I hate, I don't feel like telling you that. My dreams for the future, never really thought about it. As for my hobbies, I have lots of hobbies in quad. This of course caused Sasuke to frown and Sakura to look disappointed as it didn't really tell them anything about him other than his name. Naruto on the other hand smirked as he expected Kakashi be secretive and cryptic as he didn't like people knowing too much about him. After hearing Kakashi reply he decided to rain on Kakashi parade. Well I guess I have to tell them a bit about you then. Like he said his name is Hatake Kakashi, he is the only son of Hatake Sakumo, also known as the Konoha no Shiroi Kiba Konoha's White Fang. At a young age he was regarded as an extremely gifted prodigy where he graduated from the academy in a single year at the top of his class at age 5. He became a Chunin at age 6 and a Jonin at age 13, where he is considered today as one of Konoha's strongest shinobis. He is also the last surviving student of the Yundaime Hokage and is also the only person outside of the Uchiha clan to have and wield the Uchiha clan's Sharingan Dujutsu bloodline. Spoke Naruto, where when he said that Kakashi had the Sharingan, Sasuke suddenly became very interested in what Naruto had to say about Kakashi, which is why he is known throughout the shinobi world as Sharingan no Kakashi, Kakashi of the Sharingan, and Kopi Ninja no Kakashi, Copy Ninja Kakashi, and is said to have copied and mastered over 1,000 different jutsus. He has several high-ranking bounties on his head and is ranked as a high A-ranked level shinobi as he completed 1,141 official missions in total, 197 D rank, 190 C rank, 414 B rank, 298 A rank, 42 S rank. His likes are reading Icha books and eating salt-broiled sori and miso soup with eggplant. He dislikes are traitors, those who turn their back on their comrades and abandon them, any fried or sweet food and being photographed without his mask. His hobbies are reading the Icha Icha series and his dreams of the future are to write his own series of the books, spoke Naruto. Where once he finished both Sasuke and Sakura looked at him in surprise as he knew more about their sensei than either of them did. But none of them were more surprised or to be more precise, stunned to hear all this than Kakashi, as Naruto knew basically everything about him, if not more than most of the people in Konoha knew about him. The only real sign of Kakashi showing his shock was the raised eyebrow from his one revealing eye which had slightly widened in surprise. Well now that was unexpected, but impressive, and may I ask where you learned all this from, Blondie? Asked Kakashi. Naruto just narrowed his eyes slightly at the nickname as he did not like it, but decided to ignore it and then smirked. Well, Hitotsu-san, one, which caused Kakashi to raise his eyebrow again at the nickname. My godfather is quite good at gathering information on people, and besides you tell a lot about yourself in your fan mail to him and quat. Which caused Kakashi to sigh as he quickly realized that Jiraiya was Naruto's godfather, and it did make a bit of sense as it would be only naturally that Tsunade would make her former teammate her son's godfather. Hence Jiraiya would most likely have told Naruto all about him. Although what Kakashi thought was not entirely untrue, there was still something he did not know, which was that Jiraiya also taught Naruto how to make contact with his spy network in case he needed to make contact to Jiraiya, when he could not contact him through normal means, or if Naruto needed information on certain people or groups and Jiraiya was not around to get the information for him. But that did not mean that Naruto had full run of Jiraiya's spy network or knew how to run it to its full extent. Naruto only had contact with a few select parts of it. Jiraiya still had to teach him more about it and how to run it effectively. Okay then Mr. Smarty Pants, why don't you tell us about yourself then, replied Kakashi. Fine then, replied Naruto. My name is Senju Naruto. My likes include ramen, Mika-chan, Shizune One-chan, our pet pig Tauntaun, Uro-sennin, playing pranks, my friends, training and reading. I dislike bullies, traitors, the 3 minutes that take to cook my ramen, and perverts, said Naruto. Which made Kakashi slightly nervous when Naruto said he didn't like perverts, where he then gave Kakashi a look that seemed eerily familiar to him in some way. Even though Kakashi was not a pervert, he did read Jiraiya's adult porno books, hence as far as Naruto was concerned it made him one. My hobbies are training, reading and gardening and making perverts suffer. My dreams for the future are to be a great medic nin like my Ka-chan, to restore my clan and to be the greatest Hokage. That way, people will stop always comparing me to the rest of my family and acknowledge me as myself and not someone related to great ninjas, said Naruto with confidence. After hearing this, Kakashi had to admit that Naruto certainly didn't dream or think small, considering what he wanted to do. Then again, being Hokage was in his blood in a way, and he certainly had a good chance at being a powerful medic considering he had his mother to train him. Not to mention he could very well rebuild the Senju clan in Konoha, which was something many people were hoping he would do one day. But still it would be some time before Naruto would even have a chance to be or do any of these things, and only time will tell if he can. Wait, who is Uro-sennin? Asked Sakura. He's my godfather Jiraiya? Replied Naruto. You mean Jiraiya-sama of the Sannin? Asked Sakura in surprise, where Naruto just nodded his head in acknowledgement, while Sasuke raised his eyebrow in interest. How can you call a great ninjas like Jiraiya-sama something like that? Asked Sakura in surprise at Naruto's blatant disrespect of one of Konoha's greatest shinobis. I can call him whatever I want as he is my godfather, and besides, he is the biggest pervert you could ever meet, as he spends a lot of his time peeking on girls in the hot spring for his so-called research for the trashy perverted books that he writes and Kakashi-sensei reads, answered Naruto, where Kakashi nodded confirming what Naruto said was true, although he did not like Naruto calling Jiraiya books trashy, since as far as Kakashi was concerned, Jiraiya's books were a work of literally art. Sakura was of course left wordless, as she still found it hard to believe that a great ninja like Jiraiya wrote porno books. Deciding to get back to the matter at hand, Kakashi decided to speak up. Okay then, how about you Pinky, why don't you tell us about yourself next, said Kakashi, which caused Sakura to scowl, when Kakashi called her Pinky. My name is Haruno Sakura. My likes are. Looks at Sasuke and giggles. My hobbies are playing trivia games and, looks again at Sasuke and giggles. My dislikes are Ino Buddha, Ino Pig, along with Emi and her gang, my dreams of the future. Looks at Sasuke yet again and starts to blush and giggle madly again and quat. After hearing this, Kakashi just shook his head while Naruto resisted the urge to roll his eyes again, while Sasuke just scoffed and looked away from Sakura. Okay then, last but not least, broody over there, spoke Kakashi as he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke only scowled slightly at Kakashi's nickname and then spoke. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is not a dream, because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore my clan, and kill a certain someone. Yesh exclamation mark dot dot dot. Could it kill this guy to lighten up a little, instead of brooding and thinking darkly all the time? thought Naruto. Sigh! I was afraid of this. It seems the loss of his clan has made him revenge driven, not that I blame him though, but still if he keeps following this path it will only lead to more sorrow, for him and everyone around him. Let's just hope that I can convince him that there are better ways, before it's too late, thought Kakashi as he knew he had a lot of work with Sasuke ahead, that is if they pass the test. Sasuke-kun is so although Sakura as she started dreamily and the brooding Uchiha. Well now that we know each other a bit better, I think it's time I tell you about the test. Spoke Kakashi before Sakura suddenly spoke up in confusion. Test? What test? We already had our test, sensei, and quat. At this Kakashi just smiled. You didn't think that becoming a full Genin was just passing a written exam and some small test, did you? This of course caused Sakura to blush slightly as she actually did. Now as I was saying, there will be a test tomorrow morning and I expect you all to be there at 3rd training ground and I want you all there at 7 a.m. sharp and don't eat breakfast as you just throw it up during the test, spoke Kakashi, after which he saluted the 3 Genin and then disappeared again in a whirl of leaves again. Once Kakashi left, Naruto left in the same manner again, saying he see them in the morning. Once Naruto left, Sakura turned to Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, would you like to go out for some dinner? She asked hopefully. No, replied simply, and they left the roof to go home and train, with Sakura following after him, asking him to wait up and trying to convince him to have dinner with her. 9 a.m. Training Ground 3. Next to the memorial stone, currently waiting at Training Ground 3, were 2 genins. These genins were Sakura and Sasuke and had been waiting for their sensei and their other teammate Naruto to show. They had been at the training ground since 7 in the morning and had been waiting for them for 2 hours, by which time both of them were reaching the end of their patience. Just when the two of them were about to leave the training ground and look for their missing sensei and teammate, a swirl of leaves appeared in front of them. Once the leaves were cleared, they saw that it was Naruto. Naruto Baka, you're late, cried Sakura as she was about ready to lay a beat down on Naruto for making them wait, regardless of who he was and related to, as she needed something to take her frustration out on and Naruto was the best option. Cringing at the loudness of Sakura's voice, Naruto just looked at Sakura as if she was stupid. Weren't you two listening to me yesterday in the classroom as we waited for Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi-sensei has a reputation of always being at least 2 hours late, hence when he said 7 a.m. I knew he wouldn't show till at least 9 a.m. At this, Sasuke began to scowl and curse himself for not remembering that. Sakura was equally angry at herself. I'm also guessing that since you came here at the time he told us, you both skipped breakfast, stated Naruto as he had ate his. Neither Sasuke nor Sakura answered Naruto's statement as both their stomachs growled from hungry, as they had both skipped breakfast and knew they had been duped by Kakashi. Frustrated at being tricked by Kakashi, Sakura needed something to release her anger on, and Naruto was going to be it. Fortunately, for Sakura, Kakashi arrived before anything could happen, where he greeted them with a goofy greeting. Good everyone here, we can get started now, and said Kakashi, but was stopped by Sakura screaming. Sensei, you're late. Sorry I'm late, a black cat crossed my path and I had to take the long way around, he replied, which caused Sakura to sweat drop, Sasuke to wonder again if Kakashi really was a Jonin, and Naruto to smile at Kakashi antics. Once everything had settled down though, Kakashi went on to explain the bell test, telling them that they had until noon to capture one of 2 bells, where they would each have a 33% chance of capturing a bell. He also explained to them that if none of them were able to capture at least 1 bell, then they would fail and be sent back to the academy. Kakashi then set the clock to go off at noon, after which he told them to begin the test and hide. Quickly Naruto and the others jumped into the different hiding spots in the nearby forestry and began to plan what they each would have to do. As they did this, Kakashi waited in the clearing outside the forestry and waited for the Genin to attack. It seems that they hidden themselves pretty well, but let's see what they will do and if they figure out the true meaning of the test, though Kakashi. With Naruto sitting on a large tree branch behind the main trunk of the tree, Naruto watched Kakashi. As he did, he began to wonder what he was going to do. Naruto knew in a one-on-one fight a Genin stood no chance against a fully trained Jonin. Even as skilled as he was, Naruto knew a shinobi of Kakashi's caliber was far above him. Even though Kakashi did not know what Naruto was fully capable of and would most likely underestimate him, his chances of beating Kakashi were still very small. Naruto knew that the odds of him getting a bell would only go up if Sasuke and Sakura worked with him, but even if they got the bells, there were only 2, meaning that one of them would fail. That was the thing that confused Naruto the most, as his mother and Shizune had told him that all shinobi Genin teams were made up of 3 genins and 1 Jonin sensei. The only exception being when a high-level shinobi takes on a single Genin as an apprentice, like his mother did with Shizune. As Naruto thought about the test more, it suddenly hit him, where he smacked himself on the forehead for being such a baka. Naruto remembered when he was younger, his mother told him the story about how she, Jiraiya and Orochimaru became a team and how the Sandaime used a bell test just like what Kakashi was using now to test them. Naruto also remembered the story Jiraiya told him when he was 11 about how he had used the very same test on Naruto's father and his teammates. When Naruto realized this, it all made perfect sense, since Jiraiya had used the same test on Naruto's father and his teammates, and Naruto's father no doubt in turn used the same test on Kakashi and his teammates, and he was now using the same test on them. After realizing this, Naruto knew the secret behind the bell test. It did not matter if they got the bells, it only mattered if they worked together. Even if they believed that one of them would fail, just like on a shinobi mission where there was nearly always a high chance that one of them would die. Kakashi had even hinted the meaning of the test, as he had said that they each had a 33% chance of passing the test. Naruto then realized that if they each had a 33% chance of getting the bell by themselves, then if they worked together they would then have a 99% chance of getting the bells. Naruto had to admit it was a clever test with hidden meaning, but even though he knew the meaning of the test, it did not mean that he would pass now, as figuring out the meaning of the test was the easy part. Getting Sasuke and Sakura to work with him to get the bells was the hard part, but still if he wanted to pass this test he needed to work with them and convince them to work with him. After realizing all this, Naruto suddenly heard a girl scream coming from his left. Realizing that it was Sakura, Naruto quickly ran over to Sakura's position. Quickly enough he arrived to see Kakashi standing over a now unconscious Sakura, who by the look of it had fainted. Yesh. I didn't think I went that hard on her, as I only used Magen, Narakumi no Jutsu, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique, spoke Kakashi as he looked down at the unconscious girl. Upon hear this, Naruto could not help but shake his head, as he knew that genjutsu and it was a weak D rank level 1, how the hell that girl ever become top kunoichi in the academy, let alone a kunoichi, is beyond me, thought Naruto as he shook his head. Quickly deciding to save Sakura, Naruto quickly threw several kunai at Kakashi, who quickly dodged the sneak attack, after which Naruto quickly used the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, to create 4 shadow clones to engage Kakashi. The 4 clones quickly drew their katanas and engaged Kakashi, who quickly defeated and dispelled them all by several quick hard strikes. Although once he had done that he realized that the clones were just a distraction, as when he defeated the clones and looked over to Sakura, he saw that she was gone. Well, now this is an interesting turn of events, perhaps this team might actually pass, thought Kakashi. He saw that Naruto had used the clones to distract him, so he could save Sakura. With Naruto and Sakura, once Naruto had gotten to a safe enough distance from Kakashi, he laid Sakura on the ground and placed his front finger on Sakura's forehead and pumped a small bit of chakra into the girl to wake her up. After a few seconds, Sakura quickly opened her eyes, where after a moment or two cried out, "Sasuke-kun, hey easy Sakura, you're okay," said Naruto as he tried to calm the frantic girl down. Okay, cried Sakura, how can be okay when Sasuke-kun is dead, said the girl as she was on the verge of tears at the death of her lost love. Shh, hissed Naruto, as he tried to get the girl to be quiet. Sasuke isn't dead, he alive. It was all just a genjutsu that Kakashi-sensei used to trick you. You mean Sasuke-kun isn't dead? Asked the Sakura. Yes, replied Naruto earnestly. Upon hearing this, Sakura was about to cry out in joy that her Sasuke-kun was alive, but thankfully Naruto covered her mouth to stop her from shouting and giving their position always to Kakashi. After which he then told her that she had to be quiet, where she finally nodded in understanding, where Naruto removed his hand from her mouth. Okay Haruno, now listen up, I think I have figured out the test and I'm going to need your help. Spoke Naruto before he was interrupted by Sakura. Why the hell should I help you, Senju? Asked Sakura. Because it's the only way that we're going to pass, as the both of us and Sasuke have to work together to beat Kakashi and get the bells from him and pass this test, replied Naruto. No way. My Sasuke-kun is the best, he will get both bells from Kakashi-sensei and will give me the other one, where we will then both pass and be together as it should be, while you go back to the academy, said the pink-haired girl. Haruno, you don't understand what I'm telling you, you're letting your stupid crush over the Uchiha to blind you. The bells don't matter, the real meaning of the test is spoke Naruto before he was interrupted by Sakura again. I understand perfectly, Senju, you plan to use Sasuke-kun and me to get the bells for you and then take them off us and keep them to yourself when we've done all the hard work. So that you will pass and we will fail and go back to the academy, because you know that Sasuke-kun is cooler and better than you and everything and want to get rid of both him and me. But I won't let you. Sasuke-kun and I are going to get the bells together and we'll be a team and he will finally fall in love with me, said the deluded fangirl, after which she then left to find her Sasuke-kun. Stupid fangirl, I'm beginning to see why Ka-chan hates them so much, said Naruto to himself, after which he then decided to see if he could find the Uchiha. After a few minutes he found Sasuke attacking Kakashi with Sasuke. Sasuke quickly attacked Kakashi with several kunais and shurikens from behind from a nearby tree. Kakashi of course dodged the attack by using Kawarimi no Jutsu, after which Sasuke then engaged Kakashi in a taijutsu battle, where Sasuke showed impressive taijutsu skill in fighting against Kakashi by pushing him back and having him on the defensive. Although when one looked closely, they could easily tell that Kakashi was only playing with Sasuke and wasn't taking him serious. Realizing this, Sasuke jumped away and threw several more kunai at Kakashi, who skillfully dodged them. Although as he did, he fell for a trap that Sasuke had laid out for him, where several more kunais and shurikens were fired at him from a nearby tree when Sasuke cut the rope line with one of the kunais that he had thrown at Kakashi a moment ago and activated the trap. As Kakashi dodged the kunais and shurikens, Sasuke quickly raced over to Kakashi and once again engaged him in a taijutsu battle. But as Kakashi blocked all of Sasuke's hits, he quickly realized that Sasuke wasn't just attacking, he was trying to get close to him so that he could grab one of the bells. Whereupon, realizing this, Kakashi saw that Sasuke was about to grab one of the bells on his sides. Seeing this, Kakashi quickly jumped away in time, where Sasuke was only able to touch the one of the bells. At the near capture, Kakashi sighed slightly with relief. Well, now that was close. This kid is fierce, and I have to admit he does have a lot of talent as well, he thought. After nearly getting the bell, Sasuke decided to take things up a notch, where he quickly did a few hand seals and then cried out Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire style, great fireball technique, where he expelled from his mouth a massive orb of roaring flame. Both Kakashi and Naruto were greatly surprised by Sasuke knowing a C-rank fire ninjutsu level technique like that and being able to use that effectively, as most genin should not have enough chakra to do a fire technique of that level, as it took too much chakra. When the massive fire hit Kakashi, Sasuke quickly ran over to him as the flames died. So get the bells. Unfortunately, when Sasuke got to the spot, he could not find Kakashi. Where did he go? Behind me? Above? Though Sasuke, as he looked all around each direction for any sign of the Jonin sensei, looking for me, said Kakashi as he grabbed Sasuke right leg from underground as he used Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Earth style, double suicide decapitation technique, and pulled him underground, leaving just Sasuke head above ground. After which Kakashi came out from the ground and kneeled down at Sasuke, who was glaring at him in angry at being humiliated in this way as he could not move. Well, I will admit you have talent, Sasuke. But you're still not quite at my level yet and have a long way to go, said Kakashi, where he would have continued had it not being for several smoke bombs exploded around them. When the smoke cleared, Kakashi was holding on to Naruto and Sasuke was still stuck in the same spot he was in. Nice try, Naruto, but not good enough, as the same trick won't work on me twice, spoke Kakashi with some humor in his voice, although that was quickly replaced with surprise as Naruto and Sasuke both smirked and the puffed out of existence. Upon realizing he had been duped again by Naruto, Kakashi could not help but smile to himself, although the only sign of him smile was the U-shape eye smile that could be seen thanks to his mask and headband covering the rest of his face. Sneaking devil, he used the smoke screen not only to cover his rescue of Sasuke but his escape as well, where he used a Kawarimi no Jutsu to replace Sasuke with a shadow clone and had it henge into Sasuke. So I would think he hadn't freed him, and then when I caught him he used the Kawarimi no Jutsu to replace himself with another shadow clone. I have to admit he mastered the basic ninjutsus well and knows how to use them effectively, not to mention he has mastered the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to an impressive level and can use it just as effectively as the other jutsus. The kid's definitely a Senju, that's for sure, and considering that he rescued both Sasuke and Sakura, he may have figured out the secret to the test as well. The only things left are, can he get the others to work with him, and if so, what will they do to try get the bells from me? Thought Kakashi as he walked around the clearing. With Naruto and Sasuke, let go of me, dope, said Sasuke as he got out of Naruto grip after Naruto had pulled him away out of the smoke screen after he got out of the ground. Yesh, a little gratitude would be nice, team, as I just saved your sorry ass. And who are you calling dope? Said Naruto with annoyed frown. You, since that what you are, stated Sasuke. At this Naruto could scoffed, well, if I'm such a dope then why was it you that was stuck in the ground and I was the one that saved your arrogant ass, which I'm already beginning to regret as of now, said Naruto. Sasuke of course glared at Naruto's remark as he didn't like being reminded that he had been beaten so easily and how Naruto had saved him. I never asked you for your help and I don't need it, ha, said Naruto in mock laughter. Save the tough talk for your fangirls, team, you, and I know that you can't beat Kakashi-sensei by yourself. I don't think I can either, as he has more skill and experience than the both of yous combined, but we might stand a chance if we can work together to get the bells and quat. At this Sasuke scoffed, you exclamation mark ... me. Working together, don't make me laugh, Senju, I don't need your help or anyone else, I can get those bells by myself, you guys would just slow me down as relaying on others is for the weak and quat. After which Sasuke left Naruto to go and make another attempt at getting the bells from Kakashi. Stubborn, stupid, baka, team though Naruto when Sasuke left, as he knew that if Sakura and Sasuke did not work with him to try and get the bells then they would all fail. but the two of them were too overconfident and full of themselves or obsessed in Sakura's case to work with him or even try. Damn those bakas, why of all the teams I could have been put on I had to be stuck with these two? If it had been anyone else I might have gotten them to work with me, but these two just won't listen to reason. Now there is only one chance of us passing this exam. And I had hoped not to go all out, at least until after I was fully installed into a team, but now I have no choice as it's my only chance to pass this test, thought Naruto. With Kakashi after Naruto's rescue of Sasuke, Kakashi wandered around the clearing waiting for Naruto and possibly the others to make their next attempt. After waiting a few minutes, Kakashi was starting to get bored and was about to get his Icha Paradise book from his pouch and read it while waiting. But before he could even try, he suddenly felt a chakra signature approach him. After a few seconds, Naruto appeared in the clearing by himself. Well, is it your turn now, Naruto? I'm kind of surprised that you're here by yourself. I thought Sakura and Sasuke would be with you after you rescued them? Spoke Kakashi, as he kept an eye out for them in case Naruto was a distraction so that Sasuke and Sakura could sneak up on him. Unfortunately they aren't, as they didn't want to work with me, replied Naruto calmly. Well, that's unfortunate, replied Kakashi, although he wasn't surprised as all the other teams he tested failed to realize the true meaning of the test. But still, Kakashi was disappointed when he heard this and had actually hoped that this team would pass, as Naruto obviously had figured out the true meaning of the test. Not to mention that both he and Sasuke showed a lot of potentially as shinobis. Even Sakura, where once she got out of her fangirl stage, grew up and trained hard, would make a fine kunoichi one day. Oh well, maybe next time though, Kakashi, before he turned his attention on Naruto again. So now that they won't help you, are you going to give up? Or are you going to try and get the bells from me? I going for the bells, replied Naruto simply. Oh, even after you saw what I did to Sakura and Sasuke, do you honestly think you can do any better than them and beat me? Asked Kakashi. I know that the odds are against me and it's unlikely that I beat you, but still that doesn't mean I shouldn't at least try. Besides, no matter what kind of obstacle I'm up against, I never give up and I never go back on my word, because that my ninja way, stated Naruto with nothing but confidence. Upon hearing this, Kakashi could not help but smile behind his mask, as he liked Naruto's attitude, as it reminded him a lot of his former teammate Obito. Well then, if that the case, then you better come at me with the intention to kill me, as that the only chance you have of getting these bells, spoke Kakashi calmly, as he believed he could handle anything Naruto could throw at him. Fine then, said Naruto, as he quickly raced through the gap between him and Kakashi, engaged him in a fierce taijutsu battle. For the next few minutes, Naruto attacked Kakashi with a series of hard and fast jabs and punches, which Kakashi was able to dodge and block effectively enough, although was having some difficulty as he was unfamiliar with the taijutsu style that Naruto was using, as it was not your typical taijutsu style. As Kakashi was blocking and dodging Naruto's jabs and punches, Naruto saw a slight opening and took it by trying to deliver a hard elbow strike to Kakashi's neck, but just before he could hit it, Kakashi blocked the strike by catching Naruto's elbow in his left hand. Not to be deterred, Naruto tried to deliver a knee strike to the left side of Kakashi's head, but yet again Kakashi was able to block it with his left elbow. In an impressive feat of flexibility and agility, Naruto was able to push himself off Kakashi and do a mid-air spin kick and hit the right side of Kakashi's head. Unfortunately, when Naruto hit Kakashi, he turned into a wooden log, showing that Kakashi had used a Kawarimi no Jutsu to avoid being hit by Naruto. Well, that was exciting, spoke Kakashi as he was leaning against a tree nearby, whereupon seeing him, Naruto quickly spun around, fell into a taijutsu stance. The kid is certainly something else though, Kakashi, as he looked at Naruto with a calculating glaze which was hidden by an amused look. His attacks are hard and fast and are just as fierce as Sasuke's, yet I can tell that whatever style he's using, he is yet to fully master it, as I can still see flaws in them. Before we continue any further, perhaps you can tell me the name of the style you're using, as I'm unfamiliar with it and I have never seen it before, asked Kakashi with generally curiosity, as he could tell that given time and enough training, Naruto could be quite dangerous with the style once he mastered it. The style has no name yet, as I created it myself and have not thought of a good name for it yet, replied Naruto, surprising Kakashi and shocking both Sasuke and Sakura, who had been watching the fight between Kakashi and Naruto from separate hidden positions in the forestry. You created that style yourself? Asked Kakashi, with unmasked surprise, where Naruto just nodded, after which Kakashi could only shake his head in amusement at the fact that a boy Naruto's age was creating his own fighting style and was already proving that it could one day become an extremely powerful style one day. I guess the Senju clan blood runs true after all, as only a child from that clan could do something like this, he thought in amusement. Deciding to try and make Naruto lose focus, Kakashi took out his Icha Paradise book and pretended to read, as he hoped that he could get Naruto angry and lose focus. When Naruto saw the book, he began to narrow his eyes in slight anger. What do you think you are doing? asked an annoyed Naruto. What does it look like I'm readying, replied Kakashi as he turned a page and continued to pretend to read, believing he was getting to Naruto. Unfortunately for Kakashi, Naruto was not fooled by Kakashi's trick, as his mother had already trained Naruto not to lose his cool in a fight, and trained him not to fall for oblivious poly like the one Kakashi was using. Deciding to focus his annoyance at Kakashi and the book he was reading, Naruto drew out his sword and quickly fell into a Kesagiri sword stance that Kensai, too, taught him. Kakashi-sensei, you should remember that if there is one thing I can't stand, it's perverts, said Naruto, shouting out the last parts and charged at Kakashi. When Kakashi saw Naruto draw out his katana from his back, he raised his one visible eyebrow, which grew when Naruto charged at him with impressive speed that could easily rival Chunin's speed. Quickly Kakashi had been able to dodge several of Naruto's sword slashes, but just barely. Quickly realizing that he could not fend off Naruto like this, Kakashi quickly put away his book and took out a kunai and used it to block Naruto's sword strikes and slashes. For the next few minutes Naruto and Kakashi traded blows with one another, where Kakashi had to admit that Naruto's kenjutsu skills were just as impressive as his taijutsu, as he was very deadly with a katana. But as impressed as Kakashi was with Naruto, he was utterly flabbergasted with Naruto when he started to channel chakra into his katana, increasing the length and density along with the sharpness of the blade. He then cut through Kakashi's kunai and nearly cut him in two, where thanks to some quick reaction he replaced himself with a log. The Hien no Jutsu, flying swallow technique, that mean he must have a wind nature affinity. Though Kakashi in complete shock of Naruto's skill level, when he reappeared a few away from Naruto, Kakashi was even more surprised that Naruto had a nature affinity that rare, as very few had it outside of Suna and Kaze no Kuni, wind country, and even fewer have it in Konoha and Hai no Kuni, fire country. How on earth can he do an advanced chakra flow technique like that? It takes years for any shinobi to do something like that. Taking advantage of Kakashi's shock, Naruto attacked Kakashi with his now chakra-enhanced katana. Kakashi was able to narrowly dodge the chakra-enhanced sword slashes in time, but just barely, as he got several cuts on his clothing and on his body. After a minute or so of this, Naruto decided to show Kakashi what he really was capable of with his sword. He then began to flow wind chakra into his katana and swung it in a horizontal slash and cried out Sarashu Fu, wind slash, where he created a crescent-shaped blade of wind. The blade of wind flew at Kakashi with such frightening speed that Kakashi just managed to avoid the deadly technique, although it did manage to cut his mask slightly, as a cut appeared on his mask and the left side of his cheek started to bleed slightly. But what was most shocking to Kakashi was that the blade of wind continued on past him and had cleanly cut right through two trees that were behind him. Where on earth did he learn a technique like that? Shouted Kakashi in his mind, as he knew that Jiraiya nor Tsunade could not have taught Naruto that, as neither of them had a affinity to wind, as the jutsu was clearly a wind jutsu. Sasuke and Sakura, who had been watching this, were equally as stunned and shocked as Kakashi, if not more. How the hell did he do that? Cried Sakura in her mind. How the hell should I know? Cha! Answered back inner Sakura, who was just as shocked as other self. What kind of jutsu was that? Thought Sasuke with outrage, at the fact that Naruto could do such a powerful technique, one that he had never seen before and was clearly more powerful than any jutsu he knew, considering how fast it was and how it easily cut through those two trees. As if reading everyone's mind, Naruto decided to speak up. You're probably wondering right now, what was that technique that I just used? He asked, where he got a slight nod from Kakashi. Well, as you have no doubt guessed, the jutsu I used was a wind jutsu, one that I created myself, shocking Kakashi and the observing Sasuke and Sakura. Why, you created that jutsu yourself, spoke Kakashi with clear shock and amazement, as the jutsu was clearly an A-rank level wind jutsu, and for a newly made Jonin like Naruto to create that himself was nothing short of astonishing, not to mention he had the chakra levels to do something of that level. Yes, the jutsu involves me channeling a concentrated amount of wind chakra into the tip of my blade and firing it with pinpoint timing in the shape of a crescent moon or in a shape of a wave as I swing my sword, explained Naruto by telling him very basic of the technique. Incredible, thought Kakashi, as he knew the amount of control something like that would take. Since for someone to do that it would take precise chakra control, since if they did not have precise control over their chakra, then they would put too much chakra into the sword and overload it, as it would blow up right into the user's face. It seems that Naruto has inherited his mother natural precise chakra control, though Kakashi. Quickly Naruto swung his katana again and fired another Sarashu Fu at Kakashi, who quickly replaced himself with yet another wooden log. Naruto quickly spun around with his katana and channeled more wind chakra into it. Whereas he spun around, he used the wind chakra he had channeled into his katana to raise up the dirt from the ground to make a dust cloud to give himself cover from any attacks that Kakashi might make, which came from a nearby bush. As Kakashi fired several kunai at the dust cloud, Naruto quickly jumped out of the dust cloud and fired yet another Sarashufu at where the kunai came from. The attack cut the bush in half, but all it revealed was that Kakashi was gone. When Naruto landed, Kakashi suddenly appeared behind Naruto in a crouch position and his hands forming a tiger seal. Second rule in being a shinobi Naruto, never let your enemy get behind you, said Kakashi. Where he then cried out Konohagakure Hiden Taijutsu Ogi, Senin Goroshi, Konohagakure's most secret and sacred technique, 1000 years of death, and inserted his one index and middle fingers into the Naruto's rectum. But when Kakashi did this, Naruto exploded, causing a massive explosion. Fortunately though for Kakashi, he was able to evade the blast, although he was still a bit singed. Damn it, he knows Bunshine Daibakua, clone great explosion, what the hell has Jiraiya-sama and Tsunade-sama been teaching this kid, said Kakashi to himself as he jumped out of the smoke from the explosion. Unfortunately when he did, the real Naruto had been waiting for him to do so, where he then came out of the tree line and was about to cut Kakashi in two. Kakashi although saw this and quickly spun around and came up beside Naruto and grabbed his wrist and twisted it enough to force Naruto to drop his katana and then threw him away into the middle of the clearing. Naruto quickly landed on his feet where he then did a few hand seals, after which his hands were covered as chakra. Both Sasuke and Sakura looked on in confusion, while Kakashi began to curse himself for being so stupid, as he quickly recognized the jutsu that Naruto was using. Shit, I should have known that he would have some knowledge in medical ninjutsu, considering that Tsunade-sama is his mother, though Kakashi, as he knew how dangerous the Chakura no Mesu, chakra scalpel, could be when used by a highly trained medic, he only hoped that Naruto wasn't able to use them as well as certain medic nins could. Unfortunately for Kakashi, Naruto was indeed highly gifted when it came to using Chakura no Mesu in a fight. He was even more skilled than his mother was in them when she was his age, where during their spar Naruto was often able to use them quite effectively against his mother. Quickly engaging Kakashi in close combat, Naruto was able to use his naturally speed and agility to great effect by moving around quickly and attacking Kakashi around different angles. Unfortunately though, the silver-haired Jonin wasn't a highly skilled and seasoned Jonin for nothing, where he was able to avoid or dodged most of Naruto's attacks with his Chakura no Mesu. But still Naruto was still able to get a few hits on Kakashi, where he was able to cut some of Kakashi's muscle tissues and tendons on his legs and arms, which slowed the Jonin down a bit as he struggled a bit to get his arms and legs to move in time to dodge more of Naruto's attacks. After a few more minutes of fighting like this, Kakashi quickly dropped a few smoke bombs, where Naruto quickly jumped away so that Kakashi couldn't sneak up on him in the smoke. Soon enough the smoke dissipated and Kakashi was gone. Naruto quickly went on alert as he knew Kakashi could sneak up on him any second. Quickly looking around left, right, in front of him, behind and above, Naruto could still see no sign of Kakashi and could not sense him anywhere nearby. With no luck at finding Kakashi, Naruto decided to use another technique he had created, called Chakura no Purusu, Chakra Pulse. The technique worked like acoustic location or sonar, where instead of using sound to determine the distance and direction of something, Naruto would use chakra. By placing his front two fingers on the ground, Naruto would send a large but concentrated burst of chakra out from his finger like a shock wave through the ground, which would spread out to about 500 meters from where he was. There the chakra shock wave would create a sort of chakra echo with anything that it hit and had chakra, thereby allowing Naruto to determine the exact location of the person in question. The technique also allowed Naruto to determine the amount of chakra the person had, hence allowing him to know how strong his opponent was. The technique of course could only be used by someone with large amount of chakra and had to have precise control over their chakra and have pinpoint timing. Also as well, the technique could only work in finding a person when the person in question was either on the ground or was on something that was on the ground like a tree of a building. But if the person was in the air, then the technique would be unable to locate said person. Naruto had come up with the technique when he read about how bats used sonar to find their way around things, from a book about animals, after which he thought about how he could use the same kind of method with chakra instead of sound. After deactivating his Chakura no Mesu and then used his Chakura no Purusu to find Kakashi, within a second or two of using the technique, Naruto found Kakashi's location. He found that Kakashi was hiding about 10 feet away from him underground. After locating Kakashi, Naruto decided that it was time to take off the kid's gloves and go all out on Kakashi if he wanted to get the bells in time, as he knew that time was almost up. Begin Himataru Tashi soundtrack. He then quickly channeled an immense amount of chakra inside his body, and a moment later gathered it into his fist, where Naruto then slammed his fist into the ground and cried out Chikakuendo, Earth Shaker Impact, and released the chakra into the ground, where, thanks to his superhuman strength, Naruto pulverized the ground around him into miniature pieces by the excess shock of his attack, which then raised the ground up all around him and scattered all the earth pieces around the clearing, completely destroying the clearing and the training area. This of course revealed a wide-eyed and stunned Kakashi out of the ground, where he had been hiding. Upon seeing Kakashi, Naruto smirked at the now wide-eyed and stunned silvered-haired Jonin and then spoke. "Kakashi-sensei, I found you," said Naruto as he continued to smirk deviously. It was then that Kakashi realized where he had seen that devious smirk before. It was the same devious smirk his mother would have when she was about to lay a major beat down on someone, mainly Jiraiya. He destroy the entire training ground, with a single punch to the ground. What insane strength, thought a stunned and shocked Kakashi in his mind before regained himself. He definitely his mother's son, and she has clearly been teaching him more than just medical ninjutsu and quat. Kakashi wasn't the only person to be utterly blown away at what Naruto had just done, as both Sakura and Sasuke could still not believe what they just saw Naruto do. How the hell did he do that? He can't be human. Though Sakura, "Cha, who cares? Just don't piss him off, as he could kill us both." "Cha," spoke inner Sakura, where for once Sakura was in full agreement with her other self. Such incredible strength and power. Is this the kind of power one gets from training under members of the Sannin? Thought Sasuke with shock and anger, as it was oblivious from just this alone that Naruto was far above him in not only strength but in power. For the next few minutes Naruto and Kakashi just stood in front of each other and stared at one another. Crap, I have to be even more careful around this kid because if I'm not he could actually kill me and bury me with one hit alone, muttered Kakashi to himself. He then quickly jumped out of the now ruined training ground and into the tree line so to have some cover. And Himataru Tashi soundtrack. Naruto quickly followed after Kakashi and started to attack him, where he tried to get close enough to land a hit on Kakashi. Unfortunately though, Kakashi was not about to let Naruto get that one hit as he continued to jump around and dodge all of Naruto's kicks, punches, knee kicks and elbow strikes. For the next few minutes Naruto and Kakashi continued their game of cat and mouse, where Naruto chased after Kakashi and tried to hit him, but each time Kakashi would avoid each attack, where Naruto would either hit the ground or just a tree and destroy it. As Kakashi was dodging another series of Naruto attacks, he cursed his rotten luck that he had to get a male version of Tsunade on his Junon team. He also wondered if this was somehow Kami's payback for reading Icha. At the same time he was even cursing himself for telling Naruto come at him with the intention to kill, which he was clearly doing so as Naruto might have actually killed him more than once in the past few minutes. As he continued to dodge, Kakashi suddenly found himself backed up against a tree, with Naruto charging at him with another super-powered punch. Quickly Kakashi spun around the tree to avoid Naruto's punch, where instead of hitting Kakashi, Naruto hit the tree where he blew apart a large piece of the trunk and caused the tree to fall down. Whoa, that was close, thought Kakashi when he saw the tree fall down, where he then quickly jumped away to avoid another one of Naruto's supercharged kicks, where Naruto destroyed yet another tree when he hit it instead of Kakashi. Well Naruto, I have to admit your strength is impressive, but it's still no good if you're not fast enough to land a hit on me, spoke Kakashi from high tree branch near Naruto. We see about that, said Naruto as he formed a hand seal and cried out Cage Bunshine no Jutsu and created 4 shadow clones of himself and had them attack Kakashi. Shit. Cursed Kakashi as he saw the Shadow's clones come at him as he dodged their attacks, as they were able to use Naruto's superhuman strength as well. After dodging another attack from one of the clones, Kakashi quickly jumped into the air and threw several shurikens at once and hit the clones with pinpoint precision, causing them to disappear. Unfortunately the clones were just another distraction for Kakashi, so to allow Naruto to come behind him, where Naruto then appeared in midair right above Kakashi and did a falling axe kick and cried out Reshuken, Fisher kick, fist and quad. Luckily for Kakashi he saw Naruto appear right before attack hit him and was able to do a midair spin to avoid being hit by Naruto's Reshuken. When Kakashi avoided Naruto's Reshuken, Naruto fell right past him, where his kick hit the ground and caused a large fissure in the ground, making Kakashi glad that he had avoided being hit by that attack when he landed nearby. Unfortunately Kakashi was not able to ponder for long on how lucky he was, as Naruto quickly got back on his feet and charged forward at him with a straightforward punch and hit Kakashi right in the gut, although when he did hit Kakashi he exploded into a puff of smoke. Damn it, he got away again. He used a replacement jutsu and replaced himself with a shadow clone he had created, thought Naruto, where he then used his Chakura no Purusu to find Kakashi again. With Kakashi, man, I never thought I have this hard a time with Naruto, let alone any of the others in this test, muttered Kakashi to himself, as he hid behind a tree trunk on a thick tree branch so to give him to catch his breath. But as Kakashi was catching his breath his shinobi senses were telling him that there was something amiss. Stretching out his senses to find anything out of the usual, he suddenly felt a change in his chakra and quickly realized that he was under a genjutsu. Quickly he used a genjutsu kai, genjutsu release, to break out of the genjutsu. When he did this the genjutsu faded, revealing it to be a Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, false surroundings technique, as Kakashi found himself on the ground below the tree that he thought he was on instead of being on one of its branches. Not bad Naruto, But still not good enough to fool me, spoke Kakashi out loud as he got ready for any attack that Naruto would make next. But what happened next he did not expect to happen, as a tree suddenly sprung out of the ground and coiled itself around Kakashi and wrapping up his hands, arms and legs, completely robbing him of his mobility. How this then, sensei? Asked Naruto as he came out of the tree that was wrapped around Kakashi and ready to strike Kakashi in the neck with the kunai he had in hand. Shit. He used a Magen, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, double false surroundings technique, to trick me, as the Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu was just to distract me, so that I would not sense the Magen, Jubaku Satsu, demonic illusion, tree binding death, when he used it on me until it was too late. Damn it, I didn't think he'd be this skilled in genjutsu. I got stop underestimating this kid, thought Kakashi, as he cursed himself for being over underestimating Naruto again. Quickly before Naruto could strike, Kakashi bit his lip to cause enough pain to get out of the genjutsu. Once Kakashi was out of the genjutsu, he quickly jumped into the air to dodge several shurikens thrown by Naruto. As he was in midair, Kakashi quickly caught several of the shurikens that Naruto had thrown at him. When he landed, he then threw them at Naruto and hit him in the chest. But as they did, Naruto exploded into a puff of smoke, revealing that he was a shadow clone. When Kakashi discovered this, he suddenly found himself unable to move. As he looked around with his eyes, he suddenly saw several seals craved on the trees around him. Kakashi quickly realized that the seals were for Kekai Koti Fun, four-corner immobilization seal, a Chunin level Fuinjutsu, that involved placing specific seals in specific spots around an opponent, where once activated the opponent and anyone else in the middle of the area between the seals would be unable to move. Shit, the Jinjutsu attack was just another diversion, so to keep me distracted long enough for him to place the seals on the trees and to make sure I wouldn't notice them until it was too late, I fell right into his trap. He's definitely got good tactical skills, thought Kakashi, as he then began to try and think of a way to get out of this mess, before Naruto took the bells off him. Well, Kakashi-sensei, I believe that we're nearing the end of this fight, as I have you now and you can't escape and it's my move, said Naruto as he appeared in front of Kakashi. I wouldn't be too confident if I were you, Naruto, said Kakashi rather calmly. Perhaps, but I do think that this fight is mine, and I'm going to finish this now, stated Naruto as he then began to do a few hand seals. Kakashi's eye quickly widened in surprise as he recognized that jutsu as a water jutsu, he has an affinity to water as well. Thought Kakashi in disbelief, at the fact that mere Jinan, even one like Naruto, having not one but two natural nature affinities. As Kakashi was thinking this, Naruto then cried out Suten, Mizurappa, water style, violent water wave, and shot out a gush of water from his mouth and like a waterfall and washed Kakashi away, until he collided with a tree several feet away. Although when the water went down a bit, Naruto saw a wooden log, where he thought Kakashi was. Damn it, I thought sure I had him. He must have replaced himself at the very moment that my attack washed away the first two seals. That takes some serious skill as he only had a second or two, but I should have expected that since this guy didn't become a living legend for being sloppy, thought Naruto. Where the moment he had finished thinking this, Kakashi appeared right beside him and hit him in the back of the neck, knocking him out. Sorry Naruto, but I won this round, said Kakashi as he saw Naruto fall to the ground, but to his surprise, as soon as Naruto hit the ground he puffed out of existence, revealing him to be yet another shadow clone. Damn it, another shadow clone, how many does he have? He must have replaced himself with the shadow clone as soon as I came up behind him. Crap, how much chakra does this kid have? As most Jinan would have collapsed and be unconscious from chakra exhaustion long by now, especially when you consider the number of different jutsus he used, their levels and how many times he has used them in this fight. Not to mention how long he has been fighting against me, though Kakashi as he looked around for any sign of Naruto. It was in that moment that Kakashi then saw Naruto appear 30 feet away from him and then a few hand seals before crying out Doden, Ritsudo Tensho, Earth Style, tearing earth turning palm, where the ground around Kakashi spiraled inwards on itself, and was about to bury him alive. Fortunately for Kakashi, he had been able to jump into the air in time to avoid being crushed or buried alive by the earth. As he flew in the air, Kakashi was once again surprised by Naruto's abilities. He has 3 nature affinities. Though in surprise. Once Kakashi landed on the ground, he suddenly felt a something stab him in the leg. When Kakashi looked down, he saw several senbone needles stabbed into his leg and saw a pair of hands holding onto his legs. He then realized that Naruto must have sent a clone undergrounded and used the Doden, Moguregakure no Jutsu, Earth Release, hiding like a mole technique, to travel underground. Before Kakashi could even try and get out of the grip, he suddenly started to feel weak and was finding it had to focus his chakra. It was then that Kakashi realized that the senbone needles were covered in poison. It was also then that 2 more shadow clones appeared out of the bushes on either side of Kakashi, where they then quickly grabbed onto Kakashi's arms and held him in place and keep him from doing any hand seals. It's time to end this fight once and for all, Kakashi-sensei, as I need those bells, now. Spoke Naruto, where he then quickly made 2 shadow clones and then did several dozen hand seals with impressive speed. As Naruto was doing the seals, Kakashi quickly recognized them as ones used for another water jutsu, one more powerful than the one Naruto used earlier. Kakashi tried to get out of the clone's grip, but they were too strong and he was too weak, thanks to the poisoned senbon needles. Naruto quickly finished the hand seals and then cried out, "Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, water style, water dragon bullet technique," after which the moisture came out of the surrounding grass and leaves, leaving them shriveled and dried up, as well as coming out from the air around him and formed into a giant, powerful water dragon. At the same time, one of the clones started to channel its lightning affinity into the water dragon, while the other channeled its wind affinity into it. The second clone's wind affinity increased water dragon's speed and power greatly, while the lightning affinity from the other clone covered the water dragon and increased its attacking power. With these 2 other affinities combined with the water dragon, Naruto then cried out, "Mizu-fu, Kanbo Rakurai, Psycho no Suryuden Dinaki, water, wind, lightning combo, supreme electric water dragon," and quat, where the massive lightning and wind empowered water dragon charged forward at Kakashi with incredible speed. Kakashi could only watch as the massive lightning and wind empowered water dragon charged at him with incredible speed, as he was too weak from the poison and too shocked to try and move, due to the fact that Naruto showed skill far beyond the average shinobi, as he had created this massive water dragon out of just the surrounding moisture alone, as well as combined it with 2 other affinities to make it stronger, not to mention the most shocking part being that Naruto showed he had 4 naturally nature affinities. Within seconds the massive attack collided with Kakashi and the shadow clones, where the shadow clones puffed out of existence, while Kakashi was sent streaming down through the ground and through several dozen trees with such tremendous power that the water attack hollowed out the ground and tore the trees apart when it hit them. By the time the attack ended, Kakashi was washed up with his back against a single large tree that he had slammed against, which had somehow withstood the remnants of the attack. Once the attack ended, Kakashi opened his eyes groggily as his body was reeked with pain from the massive force and power of the lightning and wind empowered water dragon, although he couldn't feel the pain, as his body was numb from the lightning that had ran through his body from the electrified water of the attack. Kakashi looked around to see where Naruto was, but saw him nowhere in sight. Deciding to look a gift horse in the mouth, Kakashi decided to try and escape before Naruto came to finish him off. But before he could even manage an attempt to try and flee, he suddenly heard Naruto cry out from some unknown location, "Makuten, Mokushoku, would release, wooden tentacles," and quat, after which dozens of wooden tentacles from the tree behind him came out of the ground and from the tree itself, where they started to wrap around his body and restrained him. Impossible, he can use Makuten as well. What the hell can't this kid do? Thought Kakashi in stunned disbelief once again. Once Kakashi was properly restrained, Naruto then came out from the tree he was hiding behind, panting a bit heavily and sweating. The fight altogether had taken a lot out of him, and he doubted that he could have gone on much longer, as he was pretty much tried and was nearly out of chakra. He also knew that he was very lucky, as he knew if Kakashi hadn't underestimated so much and if he had known what Naruto was capable of, or at least had known some of his abilities, he would have lost to Kakashi without question. Naruto then used his Makuten bloodline to have a wooden tentacle take the 2 bells from Kakashi's side and bring them to him, after which Naruto then held out the bells in front on the now subdued Kakashi. "Looks like I passed the test, Kakashi-sensei, as I got both the bells," said Naruto to the now defeated Kakashi, where as soon as he said this, the bell of the alarm clock rang out to tell them that time was up, and it seems just in the nick of time, and quat. At this, Kakashi could only sigh in defeat and hang his head in shame. "He beat me fair and square, and once the other jonins hear of this, they're never going to let me live it down," and quat. As Kakashi dwelled over his defeat at Naruto's hands, Naruto turned to his far left and then cried out, "You two can come out now, I know you both been watching us from the start," and quat. Seeing as they were already found out, both Sakura and Sasuke came out from their hiding spots behind some tree. "I can't believe it. He actually beat Kakashi-sensei. Not even Sasuke-kun could do that, and he has Makuten. But how can that be? Even if he's the Shodaime Hokage descendant." Iruka-sensei said that no one other than the Shodaime Hokage himself was ever able to do that. Not only that, he was able to create that massive water dragon in the middle of the forest, without being near a lake or river, just like what Iruka-sensei said the Nidaime Hokage could do. Though Sakura in disbelief, "Cha, he's strong," thought inner Sakura inside Sakura's mind, which Sakura could only nod in agreement with her inner self, as she still found it hard to believe that Naruto was this strong and that he had defeated Kakashi in probably one of the most spectacular battles she had ever witnessed in her young life. "So this is your true power, Senju," thought Sasuke angrily with narrowed eyes as he stared at Naruto with some jealousy, as he realized just how strong Naruto really was, and also realized that if he fought Naruto now at his currently level of skill, Naruto would wipe the floor with him with no problem. This of course did not sit well with Sasuke, as his pride as an Uchiha and his need for revenge against his brother would not stand for it, since it showed how inferior he was to Naruto, and if there was one thing Sasuke could not stand, it was being inferior to someone else his own age, as it showed that he was weak and he hated feeling weak. Once Sasuke and Sakura had come out of their hiding spots, Naruto then had the wooden tentacles retract back into the tree and let go of Kakashi. Once they did, Naruto then took out a vial out of his pouch, then took out a small pill and handed it to Kakashi. "Here sensei, take this, it will get rid of the effects of the poison," said Naruto as he handed Kakashi the pill. Kakashi took it and lifted up his mask slightly so not to show his face, and then swallowed the pill. Once Kakashi took the pill, Naruto then knelt down next to Kakashi and used Shozen Jutsu, mystical palm technique, to heal Kakashi wounds and recovered from Naruto's attack. As Naruto was healing him, Kakashi could not help but stare at him in wonder, as Naruto was clearly one of the most talented shinobis he had ever met in his life. He had already shown skill levels far above people his own age, not to mention he possessed an ability he had thought only existed with the Shodaime Hokage and in one other person, Makuten. Not to mention as well he could use his mother's superhuman strength and had the Nidaime Hokage's high water affinity. Although clearly Naruto had not mastered it to his ancestors' level yet, he still could do so in a few more years with enough training and practice, and the same could be said for his superhuman strength in terms of his mother. "You're a true heir to the Senju clan, Naruto, and probably the most surprising ninja I have ever come across," thought Kakashi with a slight smile behind his mask. After a few minutes Kakashi was fully healed. Kakashi then stood up and began to stretch his arms around, getting the feeling fully back in them. Once that was done, he then led the Genin back to the memorial stone, after which he then turned to look at Naruto. "Well Naruto, as much I hate to admit it, but you beat me fair and square as you got bells off me, but since you have an extra one I'll let you give your extra bell to one of your teammates if you want to, so which one will it be?" asked Kakashi as he waited to see if Naruto had truly figured out the test. For a moment or two Naruto did nothing and just stared at Sasuke and Sakura, who wondered which of them he would choose to pass with him. "I will give them both my bells," said Naruto as he threw the two bells to the surprised Sasuke and Sakura, who each caught one. "Are you sure about this, Naruto? Because you know that, if you give them both your bells then they will pass and you will fail and be sent back to the academy," said Kakashi in a neutral voice that showed no emotion. "Yes, I'm sure," said Naruto with confidence, where he then turned back to his teammate. "Although I don't like either of you much, you are still Leaf Shinobis and my comrades in arms, and even if I don't like you, I won't leave you behind and I will always have you back, even if it costs me my life," spoke Naruto without any hesitation, surprising both Sakura and Sasuke at his statement. After a moment or two of silence, Sasuke suddenly spoke up. "I don't want your pity dope, so you can K," said Sasuke, as he took Naruto's speech as a sign of pity, which was something he could not stand for either. But before he could finish what he was about to say and throw the bell at Naruto, Kakashi interrupted him. "Well then Naruto, I have only one thing to say to that." As he held his hand out in neutral thumbs out, before he then turned it upwards to a thumbs up, "You all pass." After which he did a U-shaped eye smile. "But Kakashi-sensei, you said that we would have to have a bell to pass the test and Naruto doesn't, so why does he pass with us?" asked a confused Sakura. "Would you care to explain it to them, Naruto, as you clearly figured it out?" asked Kakashi, as he turned to Naruto, to which Naruto nodded. "The test was never really about the getting the bells. The bells were just something to divide use and think only for ourselves and blind use to the true meaning of the test," said Naruto. When he saw that neither Sasuke nor Sakura got what he was saying, he decided to go into more detail. "You see, there was a secret behind the bell test. It did not matter if we got the bells, it only mattered if we worked together. Even if we believed that one of us would fail, just like on a shinobi mission where there is nearly always a chance that one of us would die on it." Kakashi-sensei had even hinted the meaning of the test, as he had said earlier that we each had a 33% chance of passing the test. Hence, if we each had a 33% chance of getting the bell by ourselves, then if we worked together we would then have a 99% chance of getting the bells. "That was what I was trying to tell you both when I rescued each of you," stated Naruto, matter-of-fact tone of voice, where both Sasuke and Sakura eyes widened in realization, while Kakashi just nodded his head smiling behind his mask. Also, the test was about finding out if we were willing to sacrifice ourselves for each other on a mission. Since if we believed that one of us would fail and we still worked together and got the bells, then the test would also show if we would either fight over who got the bells once we got them, or if one or all of us were willing to sacrifice ourselves and willing fail the test so that the others would pass, as it would in a way demonstrate that one of us or each one of us would willing sacrifice our lives to save the lives of the rest of the team on a mission. Hence that's why I passed along with you, since you both have a bell each to pass the test, and I showed the willingness to work with you and the willingness to sacrifice myself to let you pass on. Had I given one of the bells to just one of you and kept the other for myself, or keep them both to myself, then we would have all failed, finished Naruto. Further surprising Sasuke and Sakura at how he had managed to figure all this out by himself, Kakashi himself was also slightly surprised and impressed by Naruto figuring out the second meaning of the test, as he had not when he did the same test with his former teammates, where his sensei the Yondaime Hokage had to explain it all to them later on when they had passed the test. After a minute or so, once everything had sunk in, Sakura began to cheer out happily that they had passed. Naruto just dropped his shoulders tiredly as he was tried from fighting Kakashi, while Sasuke brooded, although still was slightly pleased that he had passed and was now one step closer to killing his brother. Sakura cheering of course quickly ended, when Kakashi suddenly spoke in a serious tone. I don't know why cheering, Sakura. Since technically, you and Sasuke did not really pass, since the only one that really passed this test was Naruto. But sensei, you just said. Spoke Sakura before being interrupted by Kakashi. Oh, you did all pass, you needn't worry about that, but only because of Naruto giving you both the 2 bells and was willing to sacrifice himself to let you both pass. Had he failed to get the bells off me in time, I can assure you that he would have just gone back to the academy, while you two would have been booted out of the ninja program altogether, shocking Sakura and causing Sasuke to scowl, as he was the only one that was willing to work as a team. But the both of you slapped away his offer of help and dismissed his advice without really listening to it and only looked out for yourselves. You both failed to look underneath the underneath, where neither of you realized the true meaning the test. Both of you turned your back on your teammate, when you should have worked with him, and if there is one thing that is unacceptable in my book, it is those who turn their backs on their comrades. For you see, in the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends and comrades are worse than scum. That's probably the most important lesson I can ever teach you as your sensei, which is why I want you to take it to heart and quote. Kakashi then turned and looked at the memorial stone. You see this stone next to us? This stone is the memorial stone. It lists all of the shinobis of this village that were killed in action, and my teammates are on this stone along with my sensei the Yondaime Hokage, as they all died in combat. I come to this place every day, and every time I come here this place it makes me think about the mistakes I've made in the past, and I've made a lot. This is why I'm telling you to help and support one another and your other comrades, as you will need them when the time comes, and to avoid the mistakes that I have made in the past and quote. When Kakashi finished, both Sasuke and Sakura had thoughtful looks on their faces as thought about what Kakashi just said to them. Naruto just remained silent throughout the event as both Jiraiya and his mother told him the same kind of thing and took what they told him to heart, just like Kakashi was trying to get Sakura and Sasuke too. After a minute or two of total silence, Kakashi spoke again in cheerful-like tone. Okay then, now that said, I can say that Team 7 is officially formed and we will start our team training and missions in 3 days' time at 9 in the morning, so you have the rest of the day off and quote. Surprised by Kakashi's sudden change of attitude, it took a minute or so for the Genin to regain themselves. Sasuke then went humph and then started to walk away, muttering about how he needed to go home and train more. Sakura, being the ever loyal fangirl that she was, followed after Sasuke, asking him if he wanted to go out on date with her to celebrate them becoming a team. Sasuke of course responded with his usual response, no and quote, dejecting and depressing her, who although despite being rejected by her crush still continued to follow after him and try and persuade him to change his mind. Naruto went over to where Kakashi had caused him to drop his katana and went to get it. When he picked it up, he found Kakashi coming over to him. Is there something the matter, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto. No, not really, Naruto, I just wanted to ask you something. I was just wondering, did you figure out the meaning of the test by yourself, or did you already know about it from your mother or Jiraiya-sama? As the bell test was used by the Sandaime when he taught your mother and Jiraiya-sama, Jiraiya-sama also used it on my sensei the Yondaime, when he trained him and his teammates, where he then used it on my teammates and me, asked Kakashi. At this Naruto smiled. It was kind of both, answered Naruto, where Kakashi just raised an eyebrow to signal Naruto to continue with his explanation. Uro-Senin and Ka-chan already told me about it a while back, but I had forgotten about it until you started the test, after which I remembered what the test was about, since they had told me about the first meaning of the test, although I figured out the second part myself. That makes sense. Oh well, guess I should have known that your mother would have told you all about this test and I should have tried something a little different, replied Kakashi with some amusement in his voice. There is also one other thing I like to ask you about, Naruto, said Kakashi, causing the young blonde to raise his eyebrow this time. What was that technique you used to find me underground? Since just before you destroyed the training ground I sensed a shock wave of chakra coming from you, asked Kakashi. At this Naruto smiled and explained the Chakura no Purusu and how he came up with it. When he finished explanation, Kakashi had to applaud Naruto's ingenuity and creativity in creating such a technique at his age. Once the explanations were all done, Kakashi decided to leave and go make his report to the Hokage about his now newly formed team and his recommendation on what to do about Naruto. But before he could leave, Naruto suddenly called out, "Hey Kakashi-sensei, aren't you forgetting something?" At this the copycat nin raised an eyebrow in curiosity at what Naruto was talking about. "I don't think I am," said Kakashi. "Oh, so you won't miss this then?" said Naruto as held up Kakashi's first edition copy of Icha Icha Paradise that he had gotten from Jiraiya. How did why you, said Kakashi in surprise as he suddenly felt for his book that he had put his pouch when he fought Naruto, but couldn't find it. At this Naruto smiled. "Well, back when I had my wooden tentacles take the bells off you, I also had them secretly take the book off you and give it to me and quat." Kakashi chuckled nervously. "Good one, Naruto. Now, can I have it back? Please ? And quat. At this the same devious smirk his mother was known for appeared on Naruto's face. "Sorry sensei, but like I said, if there one thing I hate it's perverts," said Naruto. Where he then threw the book into the air, and before Kakashi could even try and grab his precious porno book, Naruto quickly channeled his wind affinity into his swords, and in an impressive feat of swordsmanship Naruto cut the book into pieces, leaving it in nothing but shreds. After which Naruto waved goodbye to Kakashi and shined away, leaving a horrified frozen Kakashi with hands stretched out when he tried to catch the book, where all he could do was now watch in frozen horror as the shredded pieces of his once precious porno book slowly fall past his hands and onto the ground. 5 minutes later a large angry cry could be heard throughout Konoha Narua Tuu, followed by a cry of despair and sorrow as a certain one-eyed copy nin wept over the loss of his shredded porno book. Well. It seems like we've came to the end of Part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Senju. That sure was a long ride, almost 3 hours long in fact. Well, I don't have much more to say, so this is Amaterasu signing out for today. Have a wonderful day/night, bye.